The oil spill by BP has left our balls all over the sea. So don't go swimming down in the south unless you want tar balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Swim in the ocean, you'll have balls in your mouth. Go ahead! Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your mouth. Balls in your mouth, balls in your mouth. Don't swim in the ocean, you'll get balls in your
What's up, Boochcast fans, listeners across the internet, radio waves? This is Vinny Bucci, aka the Booch, and this is that time again, once again, yet again for the Boochcast. What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, September the 20th, 2016. It is high noon, and we are back with another action-packed episode here on the Boochcast. Yeah, sorry about that. I had something caught in my throat for a second there. I actually muted both microphones this time around to take care of it. Phlegm sucks. But anyway, got that out of my system. Now we're good to go. So, basically today, I'm really excited to be back on the air. We have a lot to discuss today. As you guys know, yesterday we did From the Hood to the Arrow. Zach returned to the Boochcast. And after the complete and total fuck up that he caused last week, which was probably one of the most atrocious shows we've ever had in the Boochcast history of the show. We've had a lot of shows that were good. We've had a few that were bad. We've had a lot of difficult issues with shows at times. And when you do a show daily, not every show is going to be perfect. When you do something, some shows are going to be better than others. That's just a fact of life. Nobody goes into work and has a perfect day every day. But I'm happy to announce, if you didn't see yesterday's show, go check it out. Zach more than redeemed himself yesterday. He redeemed himself in my eyes, and he redeemed himself in Gator's eyes as well. As you guys know, during Gator's segment, he verbally let Zach have it. Zach took it like a man. That's what Zach did. He got hit with a lot of insults, and I had Zach sit there and take it. At some point, Gator is known for going a tad bit overboard. When he did go overboard, Zach got to respond. But for the most part, Zach took the hits like a man. Because, like we said, he really fucked up last week. I was pissed off. Gator was pissed off. and we handled everything the way it needed to be handled. So Gator even called me after the show and told me that he now holds no grudges against Zach, and he promises that next Monday he is not going to go after him unless Zach pisses him off. Unless Zach provokes Gator, we are not going to have any more crazy issues between the two of them here on the show. Unless you want to see it, in which case I'll tell Zach to piss Gator off and they can go argue again. But overall, it was a great show yesterday. And then, of course, when we got to season 2 of Arrow, Zach and I spent so much time talking about Arrow, we didn't even get into any wrestling talk, which was actually kind of interesting. We were going to have wrestling articles. I threw them away, and we just talked Arrow. Because Arrow is the main reason Zach is there. Even though he's a wrestling fan, I don't bring him on to talk wrestling. I'm bringing him on to talk Arrow. And we chose Monday to do it because he has only Mondays and Tuesdays off, and I don't want to have him on Mondays talking about Arrow. I don't want him doing Arrow on Tuesdays because that would interfere with Monday Night Raw. And I tried a lot to let certain things interfere with Monday Night Raw. So we handled all the business that way. Then, of course, after that, once Zach and I finished the show, I dropped him off. I then went to work, took care of all the business there, and then came home and watched Raw, which we're going to get into in just a moment. But another thing while I was driving Zach home is Zach has talked about possibly wanting to become at some point a regular co-host on the show. Now, because here's the thing. Zach's only here to talk about Arrow for now. So next Monday, Zach will be back on the show, and we'll be discussing season 3 of Arrow. And then on October 3rd, Zach will return one last time to talk about season 4 of Arrow. And season 5 will premiere on October 5th. So by the end of these Mondays, you will be all caught up with everything you need to know about Arrow to prepare yourself for the 5th season if you are, in fact, listening to this show and are a fan of Arrow. If you listen to the show and you don't like Arrow, Mondays are going to become very disappointing for you. That's the only advice I can give you. If you're a Boochcast, loyal Boochcast fan and listener, and you do not like the show Arrow and you don't want to talk about Arrow, then I would suggest not tuning in the next 2 Mondays because that's all we're going to be discussing. That's it. So I would also not want Zach to be, if I did want Zach to be a regular co-host, I would not want him to do Mondays because I don't want him and Gator conflicting all the damn time. So if the day ever comes that Zach becomes a new co-host, Zach becomes a member of the Boochcast team, Tuesday is going to be his day. That way Gator will have his day on Monday, Desmond will have his day on Friday, Zach's day will be Tuesday, and then, of course, Elvis, he can float. Elvis is, because Elvis works every day and only calls in when he can, Elvis is the only co-host I have that will really float from show to show, except for the rare moments when Gator calls in unexpectedly, in which case we take the call and see what happens. But for the most part, that's going to be their respect. Zach's co-hosting day will be Tuesday if that day ever comes, but that's just something we're talking about. It's not something that's guaranteed to happen. The only thing that's guaranteed to happen is Zach will be on the show next Monday and the Monday after that. That's it. After that, Zach will then leave the Boochcast, and until a special occasion occurs where I can bring him back, whether it's when season 5 of Arrow comes to an end, of course, I'll be bringing Zach back. And that will be that moment. But aside from that, we're pretty much going to be keeping everything normal in that regard. Alrighty. And on that note, we're going to got 2 major discussions we're going to get into today here on the show. The first is the NFL. Now, I know that traditionally this is not a football show, and I made an exception when I had Lance Goodman on the show, and we talked a little football, as well as things going on with the players outside of the league. But hold on, I'm getting okay, I just got okay, I just had one person send me a chain of massive text messages. Probably gonna have to respond to that after the show. I'll get to that after the show. Somebody was texting me about the possibility of performing in a show on Saturday, October 1st. Okay. I think I might do that show. Let me just, I'll have to look at the details when I go off the air. But if I do accept the offer, I will let you guys know at the top of the show tomorrow. So check that out. Oh, and a friend of mine just texted me, I am watching you. Don't really know how to interpret that. Does that mean – that means one of two things. Either she's watching on YouTube or she's hiding in that closet. I don't really know where to go with that. So someone just texted me saying, I'm watching you. It appears to be a female. At least I hope that was a female. And the question is, she says she's watching me. All right. Okay. I'm going to rely on you guys right now. You see somebody coming out of that closet, you let me know. And it's not going to be, I know it's not going to be Jerry Truman because he's already out the closet. But at some point there's going to be somebody coming out of that closet. I don't know who it is. Maybe Zach. Zach could be in the closet. I don't know. I mean, I suspected that for a while, but I don't know if he's going to be coming out of that closet. All I know is that if someone does come out of the closet, we're going to be very, 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 very concerned. We're going to be very, very interested to see who is coming out of the closet. Plenty of people. I have plenty of suspects that I believe could potentially be coming out of that closet. I mean, yeah. Like I said, it's not going to be Truman. He's already done that. He's already come out of the closet before. Other people could be hiding inside the closet. I know a guy named Steven. He might be coming out of that closet. I don't know. Could be him. Question is, who's going to come out of the closet? Who's going to come out of the closet? Unless my brother's hiding in there. My brother, he might come out of the closet. I don't know. Could my brother come out of the closet? That could be a segment for today. Who comes out of the closet? That's right. I'm going to leave it up to the Boochcast listeners. Who do you think is going to come out of the closet? If you got an idea on who you think could be in the closet and is going to come out of the closet, call in at 347-838-8433. Let the Booch know who could potentially be coming out of that closet. Someone could be coming out of the closet. You don't know. All I know is someone is watching me, and if they're watching me from inside the closet, all I want to say is don't be afraid. Please just come out of the closet, okay? It's okay now. It's safe now to come out of the closet. It's the world we live in. You don't have to hide. You don't have to hide in there, man. You're amongst good people here. You're safe. Just come out of the closet. Seriously, come on out of the closet. Let's go. Come on, come out of the closet. I know you're in there, Steven. Get out of the closet. Seriously, just accept it. It's okay. You can. It's all right. No one here is gonna hurt you. Just come out of the closet. Seriously, come out of the closet. I'm waiting, dude. Come out of the closet. Somebody come out of the closet. And if a woman comes out of the closet, I'm probably not going to ask. I'm probably going to be too scared to ask for her phone number. But anyway, all right. But somebody's in that closet. I don't know. How many? Just out of curiosity, how many more times can I say closet before you guys shut the show off? Should we play? See how many more times? How many more closet jokes I can make about somebody possibly coming out of the closet? All right, I'm done. So anyway, my point is, what I got planned for the show today is normally I don't talk about the NFL, but between the conversations I had with Lance on Wednesday and the fact that on Friday, this past Friday, I was a guest once again on the Don Geronimo show, and part of my segment was to do NFL picks for the year. And basically the whole thing is just about who we think's going to win. There's no statistics involved. We don't have to give logical NFL Sports Center related reasons. We just pick. So basically that was my point, to crack some jokes, be funny, and make some predictions. So I figured since I made some predictions this one time, because I'm not going to do the NFL again, unless people really want that, in which case I'll try to work it in. But we're going to go through the picks right now. I'm going to see who won, who lost, and let's see how good of a job I did. Because those of you that know me very well, you know that I'm pretty damn good at – what the fuck? Hey. What the hell? Oh, there we go. Okay. It's like, where the fuck's my screen? Anyway, you guys know for the most part, I'm pretty damn good at NFL picks. You guys know this about me. I'm pretty good at it. I mean wrestling picks, sorry. When it comes to professional wrestling, I am a prediction champion. I'm a 6-time prediction champion. I should be the 7th time, but we decided to be nice to Elvis, which I'm not going to be this Sunday, by the way. I'm letting Elvis know. If he wants to defend his prediction title, he has to come down. He was supposed to come down here and pick this belt up, and he hasn't been sitting in here. The only reason I have it propped on my shoulders is because I'm not the official champion. So I'm letting Elvis. So Elvis, if you're listening, I'll make this clear to you right now. If you want to remain the champion, you better come to Frank's on Sunday. You need to come to Frank's on Sunday and defend your title. Otherwise, we're vacating it. Because technically, I should be the champion right now. But I'm not, because I follow the rules. And I'd be a hypocrite. It's like a king who makes rules for his kingdom but doesn't abide by them himself. Doesn't make him much of a king now, does it? Anyway, so what we're going to do here is we're going to look at these picks of the NFL, and I'm just going to see how good of a job I did. The first was the Jets, and no, we didn't do the Jets and the Bills, because that had already happened. So we started off with the 49ers against the Panthers. I went with the 49ers because that is my mom's favorite team. My mom is a huge 49ers fan, so out of respect, I went with that team. And it ended up being the score, 49ers 27, Panthers 46. So I was wrong on that one. I was wrong. Got a bad pick. The Panthers ended up winning that game. Then the next one was the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys versus the Washington Redskins. I, of course, picked the Redskins because I will never in a million years support Tony Homo. Never in a million years. Not a fan of Tony Homo. Never been a fan of the Cowboys. You know, my father despises the Cowboys with every fiber of his being. If you walk into his house and say, Mr. Bucci, how about them Cowboys? He will toss you out a window. And I know this because he did it to a friend of mine once in Ohio. Anyway, unfortunately, the score was Cowboys 27, the Redskins 23. And I noticed the referees were calm during that game, which proves my theory. The quarterback of the Cowboys gives a mean blowjob. Yeah, so that was another one where, unfortunately, I was wrong. So already I'm off to a bad start picking NFL. All right, so the Cowboys ended up winning that game, but it was close. It was close. The Redskins, they did a really good job. They did a very good job. Very good showing. And then after that, we move on to the next game here, which is the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. I picked the Steelers. Why? Because for one simple reason. The Bengals suck. They suck. They have always sucked. They are the epitome of suck. They absolutely suck. If you pick the Bengals, there is something mentally wrong with you. You're like that. You're like Fry on Futurama. Shut up and take my money. That's pretty much, if you put bet on the Bengals, you're pretty much telling the casino or whoever you're pretty much telling the bookie, shut up and take my money. That's all you're saying. Because there's no way you bet money on the Bengals, you're not getting that money back. Because the Bengals suck. If you're listening to this and you're from Cincinnati, my condolences to you. But I'm sorry. Your team is bad. At one point, they were the worst team in the league. I think they might still be that. The Bengals, they suck. They just suck. So, on that one, I was right because the Bengals got 16. The Steelers, they scored 24. So, boom. Bucci gets one on the board. Booch gets one on the board. All right. Now, next we move on to the next game. The New Orleans Saints taking on the New York Giants. Here's the thing. Despite the fact that my favorite team is the Broncos, for the most part, this is a New York Giant house. Why? Because my father loves the New York Giants. My father worships the New York Giants. My dad is quite possibly the biggest Giants fan you will ever meet. Lawrence Taylor is a god to my father. And even though Jerry Truman, my best friend and former co-host, is a diehard New Orleans Saints fan because he's from New Orleans, I had to go with the Giants out of respect for my father. So again, it was a parental obligation to cheer for the Giants. And also because I want to keep a roof over my head. So kind of had to go with the Giants. And the score was the Saints 13, the Giants 16. Booch gets it right. All right, so I'm doing pretty good. As Bubba J would say, I'm doing pretty good. That's right. I'm picking the football games, and it's gonna be awesome. Then, of course, we move on to the next game here. We got the Miami Dolphins taking on the New England Patriots. I picked the Dolphins in this game. I'm probably the only person on the planet who doesn't live in Miami who did pick the Dolphins. Why? Because I don't support a team that has a quarterback with no balls. I'm sorry. I don't support a team with a ballless quarterback. And I don't at all. I'm sorry. Sorry. I don't support cheaters. And the Patriots have, and I've never really hated the Patriots, but they just have no credibility with me. So I would never cheer for them ever. Like no. It just wouldn't happen. No. It's ridiculous. So the score was 24-31 Patriots. So I was wrong on this one. The New England Patriots managed to win despite the fact that Tom Brady is suspended. Despite the fact that Tom Brady is suspended, the Patriots are still finding ways to win. Which means that Tom Brady is not that special. That's what that's telling me. It's like, we don't need Tom Brady. We can still win. So that's the only good thing about the Patriots winning is that it makes Tom Brady obsolete. I fade away and classify myself as obsolete. Obsolete. Yes. It just shows that this Tom Brady, for for the Patriots of New England is nothing more than an obsolete mule. I saw that in my very powerful premonition that Tom Brady would cease to be nothing more than an obsolete mule, that they are going to work, they are going to break their back and get every last dime out of his equity. All right, and on that note, we move on to the next game here. We got the Chiefs versus the Texans. I took the Chiefs in this game, and the score was 12-19. I don't really have any jokes for this one. It was just because I don't really know or care about either one of these teams. So I kind of just went with that, basically. So once again, I was wrong. So, but yeah, I'll be honest. I don't really have a joke for these. They're just two teams I didn't really care about. I just picked Kansas City because I already went against the Redskins. So I thought I'd go against the Chiefs so people don't think I'm prejudiced towards Native Americans. But anyway, we move on to the next game here. We've got the Tennessee Titans, the Detroit Lions. This is a tough choice, but I went with the Titans because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I went with the Titans because simply because when I was in Northview High School, our mascot was the Titans. So I just made that decision based on that because when I wrestled for Northview, we were the Northview Titans. We had Titan pride, or at least I did for the 2 years that I went to the school, my junior and senior year. My brother was there all 4 years, so he's got more Titan pride than I do. But we just went with that. So I went with that because of that. And the score was Titans 16, Lions 15. So by 1 point, the Titans won the game. Intense, good game. In the end, the Titans won. So I got a good prediction there. So I'm doing pretty good. So far, out of 7 games, I've gotten 4 wrong and 3 right. So I'm 3 for 7. Depending on how these other games go, I think it's safe to say that we should never let me bet on football. Anyway, let's see what we got here. We move on to the next game. We got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Cleveland Browns. Well, and I said this, even though my neighbor, Terry, who lives 2 houses down from me, he is a diehard Cleveland Browns fan. Loves the Browns. Supports the Browns immensely. Loves them. That's his team. At the end of the day, I had to go with common sense. And I knew the Baltimore Ravens were going to win. Why? Because the Ravens are a badass team. Whether you love them or you hate them, they are a badass team. They're a badass team. I've seen the Ravens dominate so many times on the field that I would have been a dumbass not to pick them. In fact, there have been times where the Broncos have dominated a game or dominate a season, and their streak would end at the hands of the Baltimore Ravens. So I know how badass that team is. Unless you worship the ground the Cleveland Browns walk on, you should always pick Baltimore in that regard, in that scenario. So the score was Ravens 25, the Cleveland Browns 20. The Ravens won the game. And on that note, we move on to the next game here, which was probably the most pathetic game of them all. The Seattle Seahawks taking on the LA Rams. This overall was an abysmal game. And I remember when I interviewed Lance and we were talking about the NFL draft, we talked about the Los Angeles Rams being a very not so great team. The fact that the Rams were not that great and that Los Angeles wasn't really thinking straight when they decided to bring the Rams back to Los Angeles. Because it used to be the LA Rams, then they went to St. Louis, now they're back in LA. So they didn't do a hell of a job. So I predicted the Seahawks are going to win. I was wrong. The score was 3-9. 3-9. That is the most pathetic game ever. Now, obviously, I was wrong in my prediction, but still, this sucked. This was a terrible fucking game. When that's all the points you score in a 4-quarter game, you have to be 50 shades of suck. 50 shades of suck. So they got the win. The next game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus St. Louis Cardinals. I picked the Cardinals, and boy, I struck big on this one. The score was the Buccaneers got 7, the Cardinals got 40. The St. Louis Cardinals spanked the Buccaneers. Spanked them. Bent Captain Jack Sparrow over and just rammed it up his poop chute. Just, oh, damn. It was a massacre. Massacre. That's embarrassing. That's what that is. That is embarrassing. Epic fail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep. Epic fail on the part of the Buccaneers. So the Cardinals won that. Boy, was I right. I struck big. And on that note, we're going to move on to the next game here. We've got the Jacksonville Jaguars and the San Diego Chargers. I picked the Jaguars in this one. Why? Not a real big fan of the Chargers. I haven't really. I think LaDainian Tomlinson is a monumental pain in the ass. I think he's one of my least favorite players in the game, especially when he walks around calling himself LT when we all know Lawrence Taylor is the true LT. But anyway, Chargers don't really like very much, so I kind of took a gamble, went with the Jaguars. And I fell flat on my face because the score was the Jaguars 14, the Chargers 38. So the Chargers actually did well, played a hell of a game. That put another wrong column for me, and which is kind of disappointing. But anyway, we move on to the next game here. The Atlanta Falcons versus the Oakland Raiders. Naturally, I picked the Falcons. And I picked the Falcons for 2 reasons. 3 reasons, actually. 1, I live in Atlanta. 2, they weren't playing the Broncos. And 3, as a Broncos fan, I despise the Oakland Raiders. Because that's our rival team. So I will go against the Raiders pretty much any chance I get. I don't like the Oakland Raiders. I am not a fan of Oakland at all. And, of course, I got to go with the Falcons because I live in Atlanta. And the Falcons go to the Super Bowl and they don't play the Broncos, the Falcons will be my pick. So, Falcons rise up. And sure enough, they did. As the score was, the Falcons 35, the Raiders 28. So the Falcons played a hell of a game, got a win, got the big win, and now we'll see if they can keep that momentum going in the season. So, as someone who lives in Atlanta, congrats to our Atlanta Falcons for winning the game. Hopefully, you guys can keep the momentum going, or at least till October 9th when you play the Broncos, in which case I hope they destroy you. But after that, I hope you rise back up again and keep the momentum going. But anyway, after that, we move on to the next game, the Indianapolis Colts versus the Denver Broncos. Obviously, I picked the Broncos. That's my team. Those are my boys right there, defending Super Bowl champions. That's right, because they are the NFL World Football Champions. Broncos rock. Yeah. So, of course, now the score was 20-34, and they're playing the Indianapolis Colts, which, for those of you who may not know, I really, truly do not like the Indianapolis Colts. Mostly because anytime the Broncos were trying to get to the Super Bowl and they would end up in a wild card game, the Colts would always end up in the wild card game and end up winning. And at the time, the Colts had Peyton Manning as a quarterback. So I used to really hate Peyton Manning. That is, of course, until he came to the Broncos, took them to the Super Bowl last year. So now I worship Peyton Manning like the god of football that he is. Because at the end of the day, I don't care how much I may hate one particular player. If you come to the Broncos and you can get the Broncos to the promised land, you can get us to the Super Bowl championship, I will forgive whatever transgressions I may have towards you. I'll bury the hatchet. And I buried the hatchet with Peyton. Even though it's a one-sided argument, he probably doesn't even know who I am or care that I used to hate him. But now I worship Peyton Manning. I salute that man. I hope he's enjoying his retirement and making a lot of money off of his Papa John franchises, which he should be with the legalization of marijuana. So, yeah, so I really have a special hatred in my heart for the Colts. Not as much as I hate the Raiders, but never really liked the Colts very much because of that. So we got the Broncos kicking ass, taking names. Love it. Love it. Broncos, that's my boys. My boys. Right there. Winning the championship. Or in this case, winning the game and hoping to become the two-time Super Bowl champs. Well, not two-time, but two-time in a row because they've won at least 3. Yeah, they've gotten 3. They're three-time Super Bowl champions. Anyway, on that note, we move on to the next game here, which is a epic rivalry game. The Green Bay Fudge Packers versus the Minnesota Vikings. I took the Vikings because I did not want to support the Green Bay Fudge Packers. And surely enough, they were packing a lot of fudge in this game when they took it up the poop chute from the Minnesota Vikings. Final score was Packers 14, Vikings 17. So that puts one in the right column for me, as I knew he could do, as I knew the Vikings would win. Granted, it's a close game, but this game is not about being very, very close or dominating. A win is a win is a win. And I'm just glad the Green Bay Fudge Packers got another loss. And then, of course, we had last night's game, the Monday night football game, the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Chicago Bears. The Bears. Taking on the beloved Eagles. And in the end, who wins? The Philadelphia Eagles. Now, obviously, I went with the Eagles for two reasons. One, the Bears. The Bears. The Bears. The Bears. The Bears just aren't a very good team. They're not a very good team, Jack. They're just not a very good team. They're not really doing that heck of a job. So I couldn't really go with the Bears. The Bears. Yeah, I'm probably just going to have to wait until basketball season so I can go with the Bulls. The Bulls. The Bulls, 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 the Bulls. But anyway, also I went with Philadelphia because of just due to the fact that with the Eagles, when it came to the subject of the Eagles, I just simply had to support them because even though I'm a Broncos fan, my dad's a Giants fan, my mom is a 49ers fan, which is weird, I know. All of our extended family lives in Philadelphia. Now, granted, my mom's side of the family kind of lives around Clifton Heights, but still pretty damn close. So, my dad's side all lives in the South Philly area. So, they're all Eagles fans. So, that's why I went, honestly, with the Eagles. And it was the right decision with the Eagles getting 29 and the Bears scoring 14. So, that puts another right column for me. Now it's 15 games of football, minus, of course, the Thursday game between the Jets and the Bills because, like I said, that pick wasn't made. That wasn't added to the game, but I probably would have expected the Jets to beat the Bills, even though, I don't like the Jets that much. But when I look at these games, let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I got 6 games wrong. So, all right. I'll put a 6 right there. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. 9 games right. All right. So my record of picks is 9-6. That's right. So out of 15 games, I got 9 of them right. So that made me 9 for 15. So that's my record right there. 9-6. 9-6. So I got, out of 15 games, I got 9 of them right, and I got 6 of them wrong. So I don't know what that says about me as a guy who picks the NFL, but overall, I did enjoy picking the NFL. I did enjoy being a part of the Don Geronimo show. I always consider it a pleasure to be on the Don Geronimo show. I thank Don and Little Joe for having me on the show, and I look forward to my next appearance for whatever reason it may be. But I'm glad they let me be part of the NFL pick. I tried my best to have fun with it, because that's always the key thing, just to have fun. Let's not take it too seriously, and ultimately, that's all you can really ask of yourself. So that right there is week 2 of the NFL. And then, of course, we look at the schedule here. That's week 1. Hold on. And then, so we got week 3 coming up, which is the next game is, so basically what we got to look forward to next week is the Texans and the Patriots. The Cardinals will take on the Bills. The Raiders take on the Titans. The Redskins go on against the Giants. The Browns going against the Dolphins. The Ravens going against the Jaguars. The Lions going against the Packers. The Broncos going against the Bengals. The Vikings going against the Panthers. The Rams going against the Buccaneers. The 49ers going against the Seahawks. The Jets taking on the Chiefs. The Chargers taking on the Colts. The Steelers taking on the Eagles. The Bears taking on the Cowboys. The Bears. And the Falcons taking on the Saints on Monday Night Football. So that's what we got to look forward to next week in the NFL. Make sure whatever team you're cheering for, get to your screens and make sure you check it out. Most definitely. All right. And, all right, so coming up today here on the Boochcast, we're going to have a lot to talk about. We're going to take a short break here right now, and when we come back, we're going to have the recap of Monday Night Raw here on the Boochcast. So sit tight. I'll be back right after this.
If you like Horror Night from 2 years ago on Movie Internet Channel, USA.com and YouTube.com, you type in Horror Night. I'm gonna get her. Oh yeah, me Rottweiler. Oh yeah. That's on Movie Internet Channel, USA.com. Just click Horror Night, and on YouTube.com, just type in Horror Nights. Sarah killing Sam. Oh yeah. Horror Night Part 2 coming out October 1st. At 12 midnight, Movie Internet Channel, come from page and YouTube.com. It's something how they pot. New. Starring Serenity Rose, Commodore Rosati, Daniel and Karen Quick, James Butler, Herring, Jerry Truman, Vinny the Booch, Bucci, and Sonny Bucci. Hey, honey. How was your day?
Good. How are you doing?
What day at work?
I'm fine.
So what's for dinner?
We're going to go out. I don't think we'll get ready.
Okay. Good job done. What do you think? Good. Very good.
Do you see her? What is she doing here?
You what? What are you talking about?
The ghost of Lena.
Hey man, I'm gonna head out tonight. Just gonna take a shower first real quick. Get ready, you wanna stop? I don't think so. Wait, what? Why? You're my brother. You're my deceased brother. Why'd you do this? No! Rottweiler will be free my work. The Joe Bag, starring as Mayor Gage.
Mayor Robert Gage, here in my office, one of the many fine cities of Massachusetts. I advise all the viewers to go home.
Yeah, I got that money. I got the money being a waiter. I got the money being a waiter. Ooh, can't wait to spend it. Don't know what I'm going to be doing with my tips.
Here's him, Tim. And starring the late Vincent Mayor Buddy Cianci.
All right, more details on the infamous Killer Rottweiler on the Buddy Cianci Show next, so stay tuned.
Holiday Part 2 coming out October 1st at 12 midnight. Movie Internet Channel that come from page and YouTube.com. That's something Holiday Part 2. Rottweiler is here.
Hello, and welcome back to the Boochcast. During the break, we played the trailer for the new movie Horror Night Part 2, which is another movie from the Derek Shapiro film series. And you can find it on movieinternetchannel.yellowsite.com, as well as the Movie Internet Channel YouTube channel on Saturday, October the 1st at midnight is when the movie will premiere. I highly recommend that if you haven't already, before October the 1st, make sure you go to movieinternetchannel.yellowsite.com and the Movie Internet Channel YouTube channel and go watch the first Horror Night movie. Make sure you watch the first one. That way you'll understand what the second one is all about. Now, if you've already seen the first one, then you know what to expect when Horror Night Part 2 comes out. So make sure you check out the original Horror Night from now until next Saturday when the movie comes out. And of course, when the movie comes out, we'll have Jerry Truman on the show. He's going to be my guest to talk about Horror Night and a variety of other fun topics that we're going to get into. And, Jerry, of course, being, a really good friend of mine and somebody I plan on having on the show to talk about Horror Night because he's in the movie and we haven't talked, and he hasn't been on the Boochcast in a very long time. So he'll be a special guest co-host at some point down the road to talk about his involvement with Horror Night Part 2, as well as whatever's going on in the wrestling world. We're going to talk about that too. We're going to have fun because Jerry and I, we always have fun when we're on the show together. We've been a team for quite some time. So anyway, that's what we got to look forward to. And of course, Derek, I will say this about Derek, and this is the one negative thing I'm going to say. Derek sent me a video. It was a music video of Derek Shapiro featuring his character Rottweiler with the song "Living in Fear," which I wanted to play on the show today. But there's this loud screeching sound in it that carries out throughout the video, and it makes it unwatchable. And I think that Derek either A, wasn't thinking all the way through, or B, he seriously needs some freaking help. It was terrible. It was a god-awful song. I can't even play it because it will explode your eardrums if I even make an attempt. So, you know what? Not going to do it. Excuse me, just not going to do it. But I will still recommend that you guys check out Horror Night Part 2, despite the terrible music video. Make sure you check out the movie. Make sure you show your support. It's Derek Shapiro. Of course, he's going to be, eventually, I'm sure he'll call in to want to talk about Horror Night Part 2 at some point. I'll definitely bring him on to talk a little bit about it and explain a few things. But the primary guest for that movie is going to be Jerry Truman. And when I get that opportunity, I'm going to have him back on the show because he's awesome. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that was the trailer for Horror Night Part 2 here on the Boochcast. And don't forget, like I said before, October 1st at midnight is when the movie will be available. It'll be on movieinternetchannel.yellowsite.com and the Movie Internet Channel YouTube channel. Make sure you check out the show. And on that note, I am going to now commence with the recap of Monday Night Raw. And Monday Night Raw was in Memphis, Tennessee. And the show kicks off with Roman Reigns coming out to the ring. He is immediately booed the second he comes out there. And of course, Roman Reigns is pissed off because last week Rusev interfered in the match. In the restart, first of all, he had a match with Kevin Owens. Seth Rollins interfered, attacked Kevin Owens, causing a disqualification. Mick Foley came out, was angry and pissed off, and restarted the match. After he restarted the match, Roman was on the verge of winning. Rusev interfered. Roman hit Rusev with a Superman punch. Kevin Owens pushed him grabbed him from behind, pushed him into the ropes, hit the pop-up powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. Kevin Owens won the match, thus preventing Roman Reigns from competing for the WWE Universal title this Sunday at Clash of Champions. So, Roman steps into the ring, grabs the microphone, and here's what he has to say about being screwed out of his whole opportunity.
I've been waiting a whole week.
Listen, Roman. Look, I know you want to carve your own personal path of destruction here on Raw, but I've got a show to run. Now, Mick and I, we've been discussing how to handle this all week long, and we've come up with a pretty good solution.
We did come up with a solution, and it's of my own doing. Last week, you were away representing WWE in Singapore. I had sole control, and I let the show get away from me. That's on me. Maybe I didn't make myself clear enough that I did not want outside interference dictating the ending of the main event. So, tonight, what I will do, I'll take the two perpetrators, Seth Rollins and Rusev, and I will pit them against each other in a match tonight in this very ring. That's great, Mick. Well, what's that do for me? 3 weeks ago, her husband, Triple H, screwed me over. Last week, Rusev did the same. And I know I'm not going to see her coward husband ever again, so I know Rusev's back there. You just wait 6 days. You will get your hands on Rusev at Clash of Champions, and that match will be the United States Championship.
I personally guarantee that it will happen.
Well, that means so much coming from you, Steph. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Hey, you have no reason not to believe Stephanie. She's been really upfront about her personal dislike for you. She's been on the up and up. And as far as her trust in me goes, Stephanie McMahon's the only reason that I'm standing here in the ring today. And I realize I was an out of left field choice. But I'm here and I'm doing the best I can. And it personally offends me that WWE superstars are not taking me at my word. That superstars are going against me, going by on my back, deciding matches in ways other than inside the ring. Roman, I watch you and I watch Kevin Owens, and you're giving it your all. And that's a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty. I will turn to whatever superstar is at my side and say, how can the WWE Universe boo Roman Reigns? And they find a way. But the truth is, we are all, whether we get along or whether we don't, we're part of the Raw family. And we are engaged in a fight for our survival against SmackDown Live. And if things don't go right, the truth is, when the smoke clears, Stephanie, you're going to land on your feet. You always do. You're a McMahon. But if things don't go our way, I'm on the couch. I'm out of a job. Holy
Don't say that.
But it's true. It's true, Stephanie. I've disappeared from this company for years on end. I've had a major run of great luck, right? I'm back in favor with everybody. I've got a reality show on TV. I'm a WWE Network. But if we lose the ratings war, all that goes out the window. And so it's time for me to start making things right. Because in the end, Win, lose, or draw, all I've really got is my word as my bond.
And I couldn't be more proud to have you as general manager of Monday Night Raw, Mick. So, have at it. What are you going to do about it?
I'm going to make things right because I am going to sign you to a rematch against Kevin Owens tonight. Let's hear what the damn happens about that. Are you serious, Foley? You can't be. This is the joke, right? Are you just working on new material for your next stand-up special on the WWE Network when Stephanie gets rid of you? Because that decision makes no sense. I already beat Roman Reigns twice last week. I should be preparing to defend my WWE Universal Championship in the main event against Seth Rollins this Sunday. That's right, Roman. Do you hear that? I am in the main event at Clash of Champions. Not you, buddy. Come on. Come on, what is this?
Listen, Kevin, what Mick says goes. You will have to compete in a rematch against Roman Reigns right here tonight, but it will not be for the WWE Universal Championship. The non-title match, Roman.
That's fair, but that non-title match between Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns will take place inside a steel cage. Right here in Memphis, Tennessee. That's the sweet spot. And now that we know what our main event is, let's start the show right now.
Wow. Now that is how you kick off a Monday Night Raw. So, of course, Roman comes out. Stephanie interrupts. Mick Foley comes out and cuts her off. And then, of course, Mick Foley talking about, again, competing in SmackDown Live and, that he, at the end of the day, Stephanie has hatred for Roman Reigns as well as Dean Ambrose. But Mick Foley made the point that regardless of how any of us may feel about each other, we're part of the Raw family because the whole thing is about beating SmackDown. Otherwise, Stephanie will be okay, but the rest of us will be out of jobs. He says, I know that if I don't make it, I'll be sitting on the couch. I'm going to disappear. He said he's disappeared from the company for years at a time, but he's had a major run of great luck. And he said Foley's in favor of everyone, has the reality show on the network, but if they lose the ratings war, that's out the window. In the end, all he has is his word as his bond. So Mick Foley is just speaks from the heart, which has made that segment so great. Then, of course, Kevin Owens coming out to complain and getting the pops from the fans because Kevin Owens emphasizing the fact that he is the main event of Clash of Champions because it will be him and Seth Rollins for the Universal title. I like the fact that Foley booked a match between Rollins and Rusev and having that take place, I think is great because it simply allows those two to battle it out. And like Foley said, it gets rid of the two perpetrators who screwed up last week's main event match and cost Roman Reigns. And now we know that at Clash of Champions this Sunday, it's official. Roman Reigns will face Rusev for the United States title. Let me just say, Roman Reigns damn well better win this Sunday. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to say that for 2 reasons. 3 reasons, actually. One, because of the fact that SummerSlam ended in a no contest, which was the dumbest decision I've ever seen get made at SummerSlam. That was the dumbest thing they could have done. 2, Rusev has not done anything as United States champion. I don't know what fantasy world the IWC lives in where you guys think that Rusev somehow is going to put credibility behind that championship. He never has, and he never will. Especially when he's been a good, since SummerSlam, he's been on a 20-plus day honeymoon. Who the fuck takes a 20-plus day goddamn honeymoon? You go for a weekend, maybe a week tops. I don't know anybody that goes on a 20-plus day honeymoon in my goddamn life. Usually when you go on a honeymoon, it's for a week. Tops. Maybe just a weekend, depending on where you're going. You go away for maybe a week. If you're really rich, maybe go for 2 weeks. But this guy's practically been on a month-long goddamn honeymoon, and he had to take the United States Championship with him. It's shit like that that devalues the championship. That's a problem. When you let wrestlers leave with the title. And also, when you try to justify it by saying, here's pictures of Rusev and Lana. Here's pictures of them with their title, walking around. Walking around, going to this. I got news for you. No one gives a shit about Rusev and Lana anymore. And when I say that, no one cares about their wedding. No one cares about where they're going, what they're doing. It doesn't put any heel heat on them to know that they're sitting underneath a gazebo eating lobster bisque. No one gives a fuck. Put his ass in the ring. Let him fight for the title. That's what we give a shit about. No one gave a shit about this wedding. Nobody. Not a soul. You know why? Because Rusev doesn't draw money. I would like to hear somebody tell me at what point Rusev ever drew a dime. As Mike Graham would say, never drew a dime. Not a dime. Not a dime. I wish he would sit next to me so I could hear him say, not a dime. He didn't draw a dime. He does nothing. Roman Reigns at least would put some credibility on the United States title, which would bring me to number 3. Keeps him away from the Universal title. Now, I like Roman Reigns. I personally would have no objections to seeing him as Universal Champion, but I know right now a lot of fans would. So by putting the U.S. title on Roman Reigns, you build credibility with the United States Championship. Because of the resume that Roman has. Now, whether you have him do U.S. Open challenges or if you just let him, have just decent matches from time to time. But either way, you let Roman with the U.S. title, it's going to put credibility back onto the championship. Credibility that it's been lacking since Cena lost it to Del Rio. So that's something that needs to be done. That's why Roman needs to win the championship this Sunday. To put credibility back on the United States Championship. Also, another big thing that I liked was the fact that he gets a rematch against Kevin Owens. It's going to be non-title, so I already expected that. Because obviously, if Roman's going for the United States title, they're not going to put him in a triple threat match too. Rollins and Owens are going to fight one-on-one, which is good. I'm counting on Kevin Owens to walk out still the Universal Champion. But ultimately, what I believe is going to happen is what we're going to see is I think that Owens is going to hold on to the Universal title. I think one of two things is going to happen. Either Owens is going to beat Rollins clean, which could possibly happen. B, either Jericho is going to interfere or Triple H is going to come back. I think Triple H is going to start showing up at pay-per-views to screw Rollins. That's what I think. I think Triple H is only going to show up at the big pay-per-views to help Kevin Owens. And it's going to constantly build and build and build. And Seth Rollins is going to build and build and build up all his frustration and anger until finally we have no choice but to see Triple H versus Seth Rollins. Now, I'm assuming they're probably going to wait till WrestleMania to do that. One of two things is going to happen. It's either going to happen at WrestleMania or it's going to happen at Survivor Series. Because Survivor Series is the next joint pay-per-view that we're going to see. Because that's the next of the big four. So that's going to be the next pay-per-view that has both Raw and SmackDown on it, where everybody's interacting. So I think Survivor Series is where we can see a lot of things come to a close. We could see Triple H versus Seth Rollins. We could see Shane calling out Brock Lesnar because he said the thing with Lesnar is far from over. I don't know how many dates Lesnar has left, but I'll be damned. I'm almost certain they're going to use him. They got to use a couple. Eventually, Lesnar's going to have to, because it looks like he said it's far from over. So there's a good chance that Shane might get a match with Brock Lesnar. You might think I'm crazy, but they just had him fight The Undertaker. So I see no reason why they would let him fight Brock Lesnar. And we can see if they make it, if they send Shane to Suplex City or not. Could be interesting. But ultimately, there's a lot that can go down. And, of course, Roman and Kevin, steel cage match, great main event to Raw. 6 days before the pay-per-view. Although 6 days before the pay-per-view is a little bit extreme. I always get nervous whenever they take major matches and book them 6 days before a pay-per-view. I'm usually not a big fan of stuff like that because I always think the go-home edition of Raw should be the most safe Raw you've got. Like all your big stars should just cut promos and brawl and beat each other up backstage. Put them in an environment where they can be more controlled. Because then, especially the main event, because then you don't have to worry about anyone getting injured 6 days for the pay-per-view. Because then your pay-per-view goes to shit. If you don't have your stars. Well, apparently I'm not the only one who believes that because after all this, as Seth Rollins is making his way to the ring, they cut to commercial. They come back, and before we see Rusev come out, there is a backstage moment between Stephanie and Mick Foley, and Stephanie apparently is not too happy about the cage match, and here's what the commissioner has to say to her general manager.
Kevin Owens in a steel cage match 6 days before the first ever Raw exclusive pay-per-view?
That's why I'm so appreciative of you just letting me roll with my feelings.
I am, but you got your
I'll take this. Yes, Rusev, how can I help you? You gave the dog Roman Reigns another chance in my title. I gave him the opportunity he deserved. I don't care what you think. And then you had me work with that Seth Rollins tonight. All my life on a special night. You knew her movie with Edge Interrogation comes out tomorrow. I knew it, yeah. Look at this. And you knew I didn't want any interference in last week's main event. As I said, I don't care what you want. You knew we had plans to celebrate tonight. But you know what? I finally figured you out, okay? I'm here. I figured you out. You were just jealous of the Rusev family. Because your holy family is miserable, pathetic, and you all hate each other. All right, listen, Rusev, you can say whatever you want about my family, but that doesn't change the fact that you have a match against Roman Reigns this Sunday at Clash of Champions, and you have a match right now against Seth Rollins. So get out there. We go. And congratulations. Oh, To what do I owe this honor?
So Jericho has called Mick Foley, which is interesting. So obviously we now got some foreshadowing that Jericho obviously has something planned for later on in the night. But the interesting thing is that Rusev is mad. And this is the thing. Like, this is why Rusev is annoying. Like, his answer is like, he's like, I don't care what you want. I'm like, I'm the general manager. You should kind of care what I want. I hold your future in the palm of my hand. So basically he said that, and he's getting mad about the fact that he's celebrating with his wife. First of all, you just got back from a honeymoon. So fuck whatever other celebration you've got. It's another thing that bothered me. Second thing, that whole thing was basically a way to plug this worthless film, Interrogation. Because with all due respect to Lana and with all due respect to Edge, you know, because Lana's great and obviously Edge is, you know, Hall of Famer and I'm a fan of his somewhat. No one gives a shit about the WWE films. We really don't. They're all straight to DVD. They're all garbage. Nobody watches these films. Nobody. I mean, I want to meet the people out there that are actually watching these. I haven't seen a WWE film in years. I think The Chaperone was the last one I saw. I think. I mean, I've seen all the John Cena ones, but that's just because it's Cena. And Cena is one of the few people in WWE that actually has some acting chops. So I've watched some of those, but overall, no one cares about these movies. And obviously, you know, Foley's trying to explain what's going on. He said they all hate each other, which kind of confused me and threw me off. Now, I don't know if that's true because I'll be honest, I have not watched Holy Foley. And it's not because I don't want to. It's just because I haven't had time to. I haven't. At some point, I'm going to go check out Holy Foley because I am a Mick Foley fan. And I like the fact that part of it, that there is a little bit of conflict because there has to be in a reality show. And I like the fact that part of it is about his daughter wanting to break into the wrestling business. And Foley wants to train her to make sure she gets taught the right way. And that's always important. If you want somebody to learn how to be a professional wrestler, you got to make sure you do your research and your homework on what schools or places you enroll to, because you want to make sure you got somebody that's going to teach you the right way and not just take your money. Because it's tough to find a place that will teach you to do how to do the right thing, teach you the right way, because everybody has their own philosophies on the business. So the secret is to find a place that will teach you how wrestling is supposed to be done. And hopefully you don't go to a school that teaches you just how to be a spot monkey. That have no souls because they are spot monkeys. Like Matt and Nick. The Bucks of Youth. Anyway. Rusev says all his crap. Pretty much Rusev's big thing is, I want to get whatever I want, and I don't care what you want. Because that's his only answer to everything that Mick Foley says. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you want. Blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. I've never been a fan of Rusev. I think he's a complete waste of space. I see no value in him. I see no money in him. He is garbage. I really hope Roman wins this Sunday. Because Rusev as United States champion is fucking terrible. He's terrible. And on that note, we get to the first match of the evening. Our first official match. Seth Rollins one-on-one against Rusev. This match was very well done. I mean, there was heavy hitting. There was great high spots. These guys knew each other very well in the ring. Like, I'll be honest, even though I say a lot of bad things about both these guys, I've always been respectful of their in-ring ability. As wrestlers, they are good. They're great. It's everything else they suck at. It's everything else they suck at. But the match itself was great. The back and forth action. And then, of course, towards the end, Rollins, Rusev, Rollins, Rusev goes into the turnbuckle with a reverse STO. No, Rollins pulls himself up and pulls Rusev in the turnbuckle with a reverse STO. Then, of course, Rollins ducks a roundhouse, but Rusev comes back with a knee to the midsection and a kick to the head for a near fall. Rusev screaming in frustration. The crowd is actually chanting, "Let's go, Rollins." And then Rusev rolls out of the ring. Rollins immediately takes him out with a suicide dive. Rollins hits the ropes, but Rusev quickly gets in the ring. Rollins pulls down the rope to get Rusev out of the ring before connecting with a second suicide dive. They fight up the ramp, and the referee counts them out, and the arena groans. So basically the match ends in a double countout after some great back-and-forth action, which I thought was kind of good. You know, it didn't weaken either wrestler, because even though it was a double countout and we got no answer, like I said, I'll accept stuff like this on Monday Night Raw or even SmackDown Live. It's the pay-per-views where I find this kind of crap unacceptable. But anyway, it was great because in the end, they're fighting on the stage. Rusev goes to powerbomb Rollins to a table. Rollins gets out and knees him in the back, knocks him off the platform to the floor. He climbs on top of the commentary table, does a crossbody, sending Rusev to the floor. Rollins gets back on stage to celebrate with the crowd. And Rusev is now lying on the floor, prone in the ring. So, overall, the opening match did what it needed to do. It got excitement. It was awesome. The crowd was pissed off with the double count out because they wanted to see a clear-cut winner. But I guess they wanted both these guys to look strong going into the match, and they did. I think the move by Rollins to take out Rusev with a crossbody more than made up for what happened. More than makes up for that. And I think that we're going to see I think Seth Rollins from this is definitely going to show that he is going to bring the fight to Kevin Owens. And moments like these do kind of make you wonder if Seth Rollins is going to walk out of Clash of Champions as the Universal Champion. I don't want him to, but at the end of the day, I don't run the booking committee. All I can really say is this match set the pace and the tone for the rest of the show. Like I said, it ended in a double count out, but like I said, this is the go-home edition of Raw, so before Night Clash of Champions, so I have no objections to that. As long as the wrestlers, I don't care. Like, usually on the go-home edition of Raw, I really don't care what happens as long as all the wrestlers are healthy and 100% when they walk out of that building. As long as they are, when they walk out of that building, if they are medically cleared to show up to the pay-per-view on Sunday, I really don't care what happens. It might be a sucky Raw, but I would rather have a sucky Raw and an awesome pay-per-view than a kick-ass Raw and a sucky pay-per-view. You know why? Because pay-per-views require you to pay. Monday Night Raw does not. So do what you got to do to build the map, to build the story up. And on that note, we cut to the backstage area where they're showing replays of last week's triple threat match between Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Dana Brooke. And it ends in a blatant double pin with Bayley and Sasha Banks. As we mentioned last week, both their shoulders were down, which means that, you know, I don't know if that was meant to happen or if WWE was going to catch that or play off of that, or if they were just going to let it go. Well, apparently WWE proved that they are no fools and that they're not always going to insult the fans' intelligence, because Charlotte and Dana point out the double pinfall. And here's what the general manager has to say about this controversial ending.
And look, bam, 1, 2, 3. Look, all 4 shoulders were down. 1, 2, 3. Did you see that? Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 shoulders. Right? Nick, it's a double pin. Sasha is not the number 1 contender. There is no number 1 contender. Listen, but I have an idea. Sure. So, cancel our tag match against Sasha and Bayley, and have Sasha and Bayley fight each other tonight, and the winner of that gets to lose to you on Sunday.
You know something, Charlotte? I don't think you give Dana enough credit, because she's just given me a great idea. Because you won't have 1 opponent on Sunday at Clash of Champions. You're going to have 2. That's right. It's going to be Charlotte against Sasha Banks against Bayley in a triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship. Thank you, Dana. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, obviously, Charlotte's pissed off, and in a fit of rage, she shoves Dana Brooke to the floor because Dana apparently gave him that idea. And I kind of like that it's going to be a triple threat match. Obviously, Dana Brooke was not involved in the decision, so by default, she doesn't even get to have a say in the match or get to be part of the match. But it is kind of great to see Sasha Banks and Bayley both getting a title shot. And it's going to be interesting to see a triple threat match between 3 of the 4 horsewomen, especially since before the brand split, it was Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky Lynch. They were the 3 of the 4 horsewomen that got called up to the main roster when the Women's Revolution, Divas Revolution, whatever the fuck it's called, when that started. That's when it all started. So the 3 of them closed out WrestleMania. Well, they didn't close out WrestleMania, but the 3 of them represented the new SmackDown Women's Championship. I mean, the new Women's Championship before it became the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. So it kind of makes sense that now that we got 3 of the 4 horsewomen on Raw, while Becky's over on SmackDown, it makes sense, and I kind of like it that we got the 3 of the 4 horsewomen fighting for the championship, while the other horsewoman is the current SmackDown Women's Champion. So Charlotte is the champ on Raw, Becky's the champ on SmackDown, and either Sasha or Bayley could potentially be champ after Clash of Champions. And I find it interesting that they're adding Bayley to the mix. Was not expecting that. But I think with Bayley added to the mix, I think it increases the chances of Charlotte losing the title, especially if Dana Brooke turns on Charlotte, which is what I think needs to happen. I am sorry. When you're getting shoved and harassed like that, and you just let it happen, like, basically, Dana Brooke is like the Harley Quinn to Charlotte's Joker. She just continues to follow her around despite the fact that all she does is abuse her. It's like some kind of weird Stockholm syndrome that Dana Brooke has, and I think it's goddamn ridiculous that they're allowing this to happen. They need to stop this. It's not entertaining. It's not fun. It doesn't help Dana Brooke, and it sure as hell doesn't help Charlotte because no one likes fucking Charlotte. Nobody likes Charlotte. Nobody. She is literally the worst diva on the roster. Worst woman on the roster. I'm going to call her a diva. Diva apparently is an offensive term. I'm calling her a diva. There's nothing good about Charlotte. Nothing. She brings nothing to the table. Not a goddamn thing. And I love the fact that when they see a double pin, I love the fact that still going with that champion mentality, there is no number one contender. You know good and hell well is going to be a number one contender. I get that it's a heel move, but it's stupid. It's like it's a worthless cliche for any champion to live under the delusion that when a pay-per-view is coming up, you're not going to defend your championship. Especially when it's called Clash of Champions. By default, all the titles are going to be on the line. Because back when it was called Night of Champions, that's what it was about. All the titles had to be defended. That's why last year, I believe it was last year, if I'm checking Facebook correctly. Yeah, it was last year when Rollins held the world title and the U.S. title at the same time, which is a moment I would love to erase from my memory. Rollins had to defend both belts. He defended the U.S. title against John Cena and the world title against Sting. And Cena won the U.S. title and Rollins kept the world title, which still pisses me off. Even to this day, 1 year, it's been a year since then, and I'm still disgusted over that. It still makes me sick to my stomach to know that Seth Rollins beat Sting. It's still one of the most despicable things I've ever seen in the WWE. It's right up there with a lot of other things that I've seen. But anyway, the triple threat match is good because I think that almost guarantees Charlotte's not walking out champion. There's a part of me that would like to see Sasha Banks win because I feel her title reign was cut short. And I think that Bayley should kind of wait till WrestleMania. That's what I want to do. I think Bayley should wait till WrestleMania 33 to win the title because she's the most popular woman on the roster. She should get some good matches, maybe give her a couple title shots here and there, but she doesn't win. And then you have Bayley win at WrestleMania. I think at WrestleMania it should be Sasha Banks and Bayley 1-on-1. No triple threat, no fatal four-way, no six-pack challenge, none of that shit. Just make it Sasha and Bayley, and that's it. That should be the women's title match. Now, obviously, if Bayley does win this Sunday, I will not have any objections. Just because the belt will be off of Charlotte. And that is all that really matters to me. Is that Charlotte does not leave Clash of Champions as the women's champion. And that once she loses that belt, it's a very long time before she ever touches it again. A very long time. Obviously, she'll have a rematch clause to invoke, but she should lose right after that. And if Dana doesn't turn on Charlotte at Clash of Champions, she should turn on Charlotte if and when she invokes her rematch clause. That's when Dana needs to get a stab in the back. Then you build a rivalry between Charlotte and Dana Brooke. And you have that carryover for a while the women's champion focuses on bringing in new blood and new challenges. And on that note, we cut to the backstage area where we see Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens talking. Obviously, Jericho was on the phone with Foley earlier. Kevin Owens is still shocked over the fact that he has a steel cage match with Roman Reigns in the main event. And apparently both of them don't seem to like Mick Foley very much. So here's what Jericho has to say about the general manager.
Okay, 2 weeks in a row that he's been messing with you. And if he messes with you, he messes with me. Okay? Foley has never liked me ever since I met him, and now he's trying to take it out on me. They're taking it out on you. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it is ridiculous. A steel cage match 6 days before Clash of Champions. It's unbelievable. You know, he's had it out for me since the day I won the WWE Universe. He's making me jump rope hoops, justify his existence as general manager. Even he knows he's useless. He's rotten. You know, he's abusing his power. He has no idea. You know what I'm going to do? What? Jim is. I'm going to make a list of everything Foley has done wrong as general manager. I'm going to show it to him. And you know what? When I show it to him, he's not going to like it. Get out of that way!
I love how Jericho continues to take simple things and make them funny. Like the word "it's." It's just great. It's great. And of course, you know, Owens have fully had it out from ever since he won the title. They think he's abusing his power. And now Jericho's going to make a list of everything that's wrong with Foley as general manager. Also, I'm sorry if you had a hard time hearing some of that clip while I was I had to lean over real quick. I had the earbuds on and the phone hit the floor. So I had to pick it back up, put it up near the microphone. So if you missed a little bit of that clip, I apologize. What I'll probably do is I'll probably save that clip, replay it at the top of the show tomorrow. That way to make up for it, just in case any of you guys missed it. But I'm not going to replay it right now because I got to keep moving through the recap. But what I will say is I, for one, enjoy the fact that Owens and Jericho are continuing to have great chemistry together. And even though Owens is the Universal Champion, at some point down the road with these guys, I foresee two possibilities. Either A, at some point, Jericho is going to face Kevin Owens for that Universal title, and one of them is going to turn face. Or B, if Kevin Owens eventually does lose the Universal title, which I don't think will be for a while, but if somehow he does, I definitely see Jericho going for the WWE Tag Team titles. I definitely see them going for the World Tag Team titles. They're going to do it. I see that happening. I would be shocked if it didn't happen with the kind of chemistry that Jericho and Kevin Owens have. In fact, if Kevin Owens wasn't the Universal Champion right now, I think they'd be going for the tag belts against the New Day. And I think the segments between Jericho and the New Day would be awesome leading up to a pay-per-view match. So that's just how I feel about that. And on that note, we're going to move on to the next match of the evening, which is Sin Cara versus Braun Strowman. As we all know, Braun Strowman and Sin Cara have developed a bit of a rivalry ever since Braun Strowman ripped off the mask of Americo. Sin Cara found it disrespectful to the luchador, to the lucha libre style of wrestling, and wanted to represent his fellow luchadors. Well, last time, Sin Cara ended up losing by countout to Braun Strowman. So these guys decided to have a match. And this match was actually a match, which is what I like. I like the fact that they're not that because now they're using enhancement talent and random jobbers for certain events, that they're now treating their guys like Sin Cara like real stars when they step into the ring with Braun Strowman. I like this. Because, yes, even though there's a size difference, and even though Braun Strowman did win the match, at the end of the day, Sin Cara is a star in WWE. He's not a jobber and shouldn't be treated like one. So, to see Sin Cara actually giving, hitting Strowman with kicks and punches, and eventually, hitting getting Strowman, hitting him with a baseball slide and a suicide dive, and even though he does send Strowman flying through the backs him, kicks him so hard with the suicide dive that when he dives on him, he kind of pushes him back against the railings and everything. But Strowman doesn't fall to his feet. He never leaves his feet. It makes both of them look strong. And then, of course, in the end, Sin Cara goes for a springboard moonsault, but Strowman catches him, hits a power slam. 1, 2, 3. The winner of the match, Braun Strowman. Now, I knew Braun Strowman was going to win. We all knew Braun Strowman was going to win. It's going to be a while before he loses any match anytime soon. But I like the fact that Sin Cara was allowed to put up a fight and at least be able to hurt Braun Strowman somewhat. He didn't knock him off his feet. He didn't cause significant damage, but he made a statement. And he didn't go down without a real valiant fight. It took effort to get the job done. And that's what I liked about this match. That Sin Cara went down fighting, and it wasn't a squash match where Braun Strowman just embarrassed him. I like the fact that it was about Sin Cara using his speed and quickness to outmaneuver Braun, but then once Braun got his hands on him, boom, he humbled his ass. That's how you do a fight between a big man and a small man. That's how you utilize their advantage. That's how you take advantage of a giant. And on that note, we cut to the backstage area where Sasha Banks is backstage stretching, getting ready, when Bayley, her tag team partner for tonight, and her opponent at Clash of Champions shows up. And here's what these two friends have to say about teaming up tonight and facing each other on Sunday.
Hey, I cannot tell you how excited I am to be in the ring again with you this Sunday. 3 of us, like old times. Oh, old times. Yeah. I remember our old times in NXT. I mean, we pushed each other to our limits. Look, you and I made history with each other. But that was old times. It's the new era. This is Monday Night Raw. Last week, I had you beat. Whoa, wait a minute. With all due respect, sister, I beat you last week. So I guess that's why we're in a triple threat match. So the good news is one of us is going to become the new WWE Women's Champion. Yeah, that's going to be me. Oh, no. Dude, come on. It's gonna be okay, well, anyways, as far as tonight is concerned, let's show them how it's done. Yeah, we will. All right, sister. All right.
Okay, well, obviously, there's a huge form of respect between these two. And, of course, Bayley is kind of living in the past a little bit, and Sasha has to explain to her, look, this isn't NXT anymore. We're on Monday Night Raw. It's a whole nother thing. And then, of course, they had the double pin. They're in the triple threat match, and they believe that one of them will become the new Raw Women's Champion. So this Sunday, they made it very clear it's going to be every woman for herself. But tonight, we need to be on the same page. Tonight, let's take care of Charlotte and Dana Brooke, and then on Sunday, we'll have it out to determine the women's champion. And I truly believe that one of them is going to become the Raw Women's Champion. And they damn well better, because I swear to God, if Charlotte walks out the women's champion, I will probably not be watching any more women's matches. I may have to actually read them word for word off my note sheet, exactly what happened in the match, because I am not going to be watching any of it. I'll probably fast forward through the women matches. I will make, if Charlotte wins this triple threat match, the women's match is going to go back to being a bathroom and a smoke break for me. I don't care how great the match itself is. I cannot stand Charlotte as women's champion. I'm fed the fuck up with Charlotte. One of these two, Sasha or Bayley, has to win. Has to win. The only reason Charlotte is the champ right now is because they thought Sasha Banks' back injury was possibly career-threatening. Now that we know it isn't, either give her back the belt or let Bayley have the belt and make it happen. I think this is going to lead to something great down the road. I see these two women having a rivalry. I really do. Sasha and Bayley. I don't know if they're going to turn heel or if it's going to be babyface versus babyface because they're both really popular with the fans. So turning one of them heel is not really going to change anything because fans just love them. No matter what, whether they're babyface or heel, they get a response from the crowd. And neither one of them needs to be heel. Plus, I don't know if Bayley could pull off being a heel. I think she's way too sweet of a person. And on that note, we move on to the tag match. Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Charlotte and Dana Brooke. Now, of course, this match is great. The chemistry between the women is always been phenomenal. I will admit I was a little disappointed that people were chanting "You can't wrestle" at Dana, which really pissed me off because if you saw her in NXT, you saw how well she could actually wrestle. You've seen her put on great matches. You've seen her do amazing moves in the ring. She showed in NXT that she's more than just a female bodybuilder, that she's more than just a pretty face. She was the total diva. And for some reason, for some ungodly reason, they dropped that persona and made her a fucking lackey. She could have been a dominant heel on her own, just like she was in NXT, dropping bodies. But they just do not know how to. Some people in the writers' staff and the booking committee, they just don't know how to book. It's like we're going to make the 4 horsewomen the best, and everybody else is just going to be garbage at their feet. And I think that's fucking stupid. Dana's not being allowed to show everybody how well she can wrestle. Go back and watch some of her matches in NXT. She was fucking phenomenal. So that just made me mad. But I'm not mad at the fans and I'm not mad at Dana. I'm mad at the fucking booking committee who's giving her this shit gimmick. Whoever's idea it was to give her this shit gimmick. You know, on Friday when Desmond was here, we talked about the possibility of Triple H declaring war for raiding the NXT talent. If anything, if there's one thing that Triple H, they should build that storyline around is not just the fact that the main roster has taken a lot of NXT talent, but they've taken a lot of NXT talent and poorly booked them. From Dana Brooke to Tyler Breeze to Apollo Crews. Just spits in their faces. It's like all the hard work that Triple H put in NXT, and then they come to the main roster, and the writing team and the creative team just shits all over it. To build up people, some of which the fans do not give a shit about. It's like Aaron Rex said in TNA, our intelligence is insulted and our opinions are thrown out the window. So I was very upset to hear the "You can't wrestle" chants at Dana when I've seen her actually when I've seen that she can. Now, is she amazing in the ring? No, but to say she can't wrestle is a lie. But again, I don't blame the fans because if you see Dana and how she behaves on Raw, you would think she can't wrestle if you've never watched NXT. But if you watch NXT, you know Dana can get it done in the ring. So I was pissed about that. The other three girls, Sasha and Bayley, we already know can wrestle. Charlotte, we know is good when she's in the ring with the other four horsewomen because they can make her look good. But you have to have Charlotte carry a match. Oh, good God. You might as well go get a t-shirt and some nachos. Because it will just be a massacre of bullshit. So then, of course, in the end, Bayley goes to the Bayley to belly. Dana holds Charlotte's ankle. Sasha takes Dana out at ringside. Then Charlotte hits a big boot to Bayley. 1, 2, 3. The winners of the match, Charlotte and Dana Brooke. Now, I'm okay with the tag team victory because obviously they want to make the champ look strong going into the match. Also, by pinning Bayley, it gives an indication that maybe Sasha might walk out the champion. If she does, then pinning Bayley makes sense. Make Bayley the weak link while Sasha gets the belt. Because Sasha is the one that deserves it the most because her title reign was cut short. Now, eventually, at some point, I'm going to want Bayley to be the champion, especially with how she carried the NXT women's division on her back when the other horsewomen left. So Bayley's definitely deserving, but right now is Sasha's time. She should be the champ right now, but she's not. And I understand why. WWE made a cautious choice. They took a gamble. They weren't sure about her health. But now that we're sure about her health, give Sasha back her belt. And put Charlotte in the back of the fucking line. And on that note, we're going to move on to the next segment here, which is we see Seth Rollins staying outside Stephanie McMahon's office smirking. He enters the room. There's a commercial break. We come back. Stephanie welcomes Seth into her office. And here's what Seth Rollins has to say to the commissioner and to someone that at one point he considered a friend.
Nice to see you in my office.
Yeah, being in here actually brings back a lot of memories. We had a lot of good times in here, and I'm confused. I just came here. I want to know why you throw all of it away for Kevin Owens. Really?
For the last time, I had nothing to do with Hunter's actions in that fatal four-way. I was pulling for you the whole time. Look, why can't we just put this behind us and move on?
No. You're not going to sweep this under the rug on me, okay? I know the truth. I didn't come here asking for the truth. What I came for is because I want to know, face to face, do you have the guts to tell me why?
Look, I can't explain something that I knew nothing about, okay? But, if I had to take a guess, maybe Kevin Owens was right. You are the reason why the WWE World Heavyweight Championship went to SmackDown Live, my brother's show. You did lose to Finn Balor at SummerSlam. I mean, you did. Okay? And maybe my husband, who handpicked you from the Shield, was simply tired of you ruining his reputation. Maybe.
Well, maybe you and your husband will figure out after Night of Champions when Kevin Owens is laying flat on his back and I'm standing above him holding the WWE Universal Championship in my hands, that you guys made the wrong choice. You put your money on the wrong horse. Maybe then you'll come crawling back to me. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm going to be your worst nightmare. Maybe I'll be a WWE Universal Champion that you cannot control. Because I know every move you're going to make before you make it. Stephanie, you cannot manipulate.
Don't you threaten me. I didn't know what Hunter was going to do, okay? But right now, the way you're speaking to me, I wish that I did. Do I think Kevin Owens is the right person to be the WWE Universal Champion? Yes, I do. Do I think Kevin Owens is the right person to lead Monday Night Raw against SmackDown Live? Yes, I do. And do I think that Kevin Owens has replaced Seth Rollins as the man? Yes, I do.
You know, you used to be such a shrewd businessman. But lately you've been starting to crack. I think it started with the return of your brother, Shane.
Wow. I can honestly say that is probably one of the best Stephanie McMahon moments I've seen in a long time. I mean, you know, Seth pretty much threatening Stephanie. Stephanie now standing up for herself, saying that, you know, Kevin Owens has replaced Seth Rollins as the man and that he is to blame for the championship going to, for the WWE World Championship going to SmackDown Live, and that Kevin Owens is the right person to hold that championship. I mean, she pretty much, you know, Seth is convinced that Stephanie knew that Triple H was going to interfere. She is constantly having to defend herself. Seth doesn't buy it because he knows Stephanie, he knows the Authority, and he knows that if he becomes the Universal Champion, he'll be the Authority's worst nightmare because he knows every move they're going to make before they make it because he worked closely with them literally for the last year and a half since he turned on, ever since the day he turned on the Shield, when he dismantled the Shield. He has been a part of the Authority. So Seth knows the Authority very well. And even though the Authority is no longer in power technically, you know, Stephanie is the commissioner of Raw and Mick Foley is the general manager, but, you know, Triple H, he doesn't really have, he's still the COO of the WWE, but he doesn't really have a lot of power over the shows because Stephanie's in charge and Foley's in charge. Triple H as COO might be able to overrule a few things, but nobody really knows what's on Triple H's mind. Nobody knows why Triple H did what he did because Triple H has not explained himself since. All we know is that he pedigreed Roman Reigns, put Seth Rollins on top of him to win, pedigreed Rollins, and helped Kevin Owens, and we know that Triple H is a supporter of Kevin Owens. And that's all we know. And we don't know what else could happen. We don't know where anything is going to go from here. We just know that things are now getting intense between Seth Rollins and Stephanie, and it looks like Seth Rollins is quickly going to become an enemy of Stephanie McMahon since he can't seem to believe Steph and continues to threaten her. At the end of the day, whether Stephanie's guilty of a crime or innocent of a crime, once you threaten her, she don't respond well to that. And on that note, we're going to move on to the next official match of the next match of the evening. We have a random jobber named Gary Graham going up against Bo Dallas. And Bo Dallas has an incredible gimmick that he's got. It's pretty much him spouting out poetry and kicking ass and taking names. This is the aggressive Bo Dallas we've all been wanting to see lit for years now, ever since his whole Believe. Now he's becoming aggressive, and now he's changing his tune. So here's Bo Dallas once again spitting out a rhyme before his match.
The tide has turned, and I slowly learned that all of our bridges need to burn. As lovers come and go, and friends turn to foe, I've come to know that only I can believe in Bo. More depressing.
Yeah, that is kind of the gist of this whole thing. That Bo Dallas is now not really inspiring people. He's just being depressing. And it's kind of a new direction for Bo. You know, he was trying to get other people to believe, but now he realizes he can't make people believe. He can only make himself believe in himself. And I think that after a couple of weeks, I think if they keep doing this and Bo Dallas keeps coming out with these great rhymes, assuming, of course, I don't know if these are being scripted for him or if he's writing them himself. But if he's writing them himself, he's talented. If he's scripting them, if they're being scripted for him, well, then at least then he's good at delivery. Because this is definitely something that I think could turn the tide with Bo Dallas and make him a great, great asset to the Raw roster. And if he ever goes to SmackDown with this kind of attitude, maybe this could be a catalyst to him joining the Wyatt family, which is something that people thought Bo could do for years. People wanted to see Bo do for years, especially when we found out that Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas are brothers in real life. So, but either way, it's a great match. It was a great match. Bo Dallas basically beats down on Graham, although Graham does get a couple good shots in. The crowd's chanting, "Let's go, Jobber." Until Dallas immediately knees him down, gives him a front suplex on the top rope, hits a couple more knees, pulls the apron over him before clubbing away at him, clotheslines him down, connects with the roll of the dice, which is his new finisher. 1, 2, 3. The winner of the match, Bo Dallas. And I guess right now they're just going to have Bo dropping jobbers. And I guess since Braun Strowman's kind of segueing his way out of that, and we kind of see Nia Jax segueing her way out of that as well, because apparently on the kickoff show, Nia Jax will go one-on-one with Alicia Fox. But because it's on the kickoff show, it's of no concern to me, because we don't recap kickoff shows here. We don't do pre-show stuff. We just do the actual show itself. If it's not good enough to be on the actual show itself, it ain't worth my time talking about. But either way, I should not have done that. But we shouldn't have told you that. All right. Sorry about that. Had a really big sneeze coming on. But anyway, still, Bo Dallas's character is really doing very well. I think eventually fans are going to get behind it, and eventually they'll start chanting. They're going to start, singing along with Bo, saying, "Believe in Bo." I definitely see that becoming something major that we're going to see from these guys down the road. I think there's a lot of good that's going to come out of this segment. I really do. I think we got something very big and very special coming around the corner. I do. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will now move on to the next match of the evening, which is match number 6 in the best of 7 series. That's right. Cesaro and Sheamus have been involved in a best-of-7 series. It started out with Sheamus basically dominating, being 3-0. Last week, Cesaro made it 2-0. The week before that, in London, he beat Sheamus to get his first victory. So now we're in match number 6 of the best-of-7 series. And basically, it goes like this. If Cesaro wins, they have one more match. If Sheamus wins, it's over. So before the match, Sheamus is backstage being interviewed, and here's what he has to say about whether or not he's feeling the pressure about this 6th match.
Sheamus, you began the best-of-7 series up 3-0. Are you feeling any pressure knowing that Cesaro can...
Pressure? Do I look like a man under pressure? You know, I started the series 3-0, and now it's 3-2. Only because Cesaro cheated last week. Now, people are saying that this match can go to match 7. That's not going to happen. You see, Cesaro's biggest problem is that he feels he's like an underappreciated technical marvel in the ring. But when it comes to the matches, I mean the big matches, nobody's going to show. See, I'm the one in the driver's seat. I always have been. Because I'm the one who's one victory away from skirting my dominance over Cesaro, leaving in the rearview mirror, and going on to my...
All right. Well, obviously, Sheamus is confident. He believes that this match will not go to match number 7, which will conclude this rivalry. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're about to find out as we get into the match number 6 of the best-of-7 series, Cesaro versus Sheamus. And what I liked about this particular match was the fact that in this match, we started seeing a little bit more psychology and less high spots. Because this is the thing. When you do a best-of-5 or best-of-7 series, there's a good chance you're going to have at least minimum 4 matches. Minimum. Maximum 7, minimum 4. So you have to make each match different. Not every match can be exact. If every match is exactly the same, it's going to get boring. You can have some matches with amazing high-flying high spots. You can have some matches with false finishes and elements of surprise. Some can be storytelling. Some can be slow-paced. Some can be fast-paced. But you've got to mix. You got to switch the styles up. Have a couple matches that are just straight-up brawls. I would love to see one of these matches be no disqualification so we can see some weapons. I think if they brought a bunch of weapons out, if we saw different aspects, let them mix the styles up. Have a match be fast-paced with a few high spots. Sheamus can jump a little bit. You know, he has that battering ram move that he does. Let him hit that. Would have been cool. I mean, he attempted it in this match, and Cesaro planted with an uppercut, which I thought was great. But let them do what they do. Let them mix the styles up. Don't make every match exactly the same. I would have thrown in a couple stipulations for a few of these fights. That's my biggest complaint. They were all regular, normal style matches. You can't do that in a best-of-7. There's got to be some stipulations. There's got to be. I would have liked some of these to be hardcore. Last man standing. Sorry. I would have liked to have seen a couple of those things. I would like to see a few styles thrown in here and there. I'd have liked it. I would have thought it was great. I think it would have been very, very helpful and beneficial in the long run. In all honesty, I would have thought it was great. I would have liked to have seen a couple of those matches get, pulled off in a damn big way. On a personal note, I would have liked to have seen it. Me personally, anyway. I would have liked that. I definitely would have liked that. Okay, and on that note, let's see. So anyway, we get to the actual match itself. Like I said, great back and forth action, a lot of storytelling in this one. You know, there was a lot of there's a few power slams, a few tough moves. Cesaro, you know, hitting a running uppercut over the barricade. This one got a little bit more aggressive than most, and that's what I liked about it. There wasn't a lot of high spots or jumping around. It was just, let's just brawl. Let's just fight. You know, we had a couple of crazy moments, but none of them involved jumping like madmen. They all involved bare fists, the fisticuffs. Cesaro showing that he can throw these well. I like that. I like that concept. I also think that, you know, Cesaro going for a deadlift suplex, but then feeling the pain in his back, you know, favoring his lower back because of the injury from that turnbuckle. Just everything came into play. You know, Sheamus going for a bro kick, Cesaro going for a sharpshooter, you know, but each of them fighting their way out. Sheamus hitting the Irish Curse backbreaker, going for the Celtic Cross for a near fall. But then Sheamus quickly goes, but then as soon as he kicks out, he quickly changes to the cloverleaf. But Cesaro then gets the inside cradle, so we see a lot of counters, a lot of technical aspects, stuff we haven't seen in the last previous matches, which is also key. Bring in stuff we've never seen before. And I don't mean never seen before ever, but we've never seen before in this best of 7 series. Make it work. Make it happen. That's what made this match great. We saw everything come together. And then in the end, Sheamus goes for the battering ram. Cesaro uppercuts him. Cesaro then responds with the neutralizer. 1, 2, 3. The winner of the match is Cesaro, and now the series is tied. Cesaro ties it up. So Sheamus won 3 in a row. Cesaro won 3 in a row. And now we got one final match between these two to determine who will be the winner of the best of 7 series and who will get a championship opportunity. Now, it says championship opportunity, so we don't know what that opportunity is going to be. I personally think it should be for the Universal title, but it might be the United States title, or if this was Lucha Underground, they might do a twist and have them be partners and go for the tag team belts. That would be your championship opportunity there. That's something that Lucha Underground would do, not Monday Night, but not WWE. So I don't think we're going to see that there. But ultimately, the match was great. The series is tied. But the big question is, when are we going to see match number 7, the final encounter? Well, as Cesaro was celebrating, we cut backstage to Mick Foley, who's on his phone, and he gives us that answer.
Now it's like three apiece, and that's why I think the final decisive match number 7, should take place at Clash of Champions. Yeah, that's the way it should be. Okay, I'll talk to our guest here. Hello, Jericho. You want to talk to me? Yeah, I've been looking for you everywhere. Okay, what do you got? Yeah, you know why? Why? Because you've been doing a terrible job as general manager. Okay, you've been messing with my best friend Kevin Owens. Yeah, you've been messing with me. You've never liked me. That's not true. I met you at the Boochcast when you wrestled Baltimore Dragon, and I went and personally ran manager Paul Heyman. That's not true. It would be true to say I haven't liked you in a long time, but never is an exaggeration. Yeah. Well, you gotta go talk more with the cruiserweight? Yeah, I'm gonna go talk about the cruiserweight. Oh, you are excited about the cruiserweight? A lot more excited than I am about your speech. Okay, great. Yeah. What? Demeans WWE superstars. You know what this is? No, what is it? I'm itemizing everything about you I don't like. I'm making the list of Jericho. Excuse me? The list of Jericho. The list of Jericho. Excuse me? We're not listening? I can't hear you. Okay, the list of Jericho. What are you going to be missing in here? You stupid idiot. Steals catchphrases. Can you hear this? Look, I've got some serious grievances against you fully.
Number 5, terrible fashion sense.
that would mean so much more work coming from a grown man with no shirt wearing a scarf. You look ridiculous. It's very trendy in Luxembourg. Maybe so. But you look ridiculous here. Right here. In Memphis, Tennessee. Thanks, sir. I needed this, man. Nice Texas break. Thank you for his cheap babyface pops, his catchphrases. All right, Foley. Since you won't talk to me one-on-one, I'm going to have to go tell the world exactly what's on the list of Jericho.
Well, obviously, we got a lot of interesting things happening at one time. First, we discovered that this Sunday at Clash of Champions will be Cesaro and Sheamus, match number 7. So that will be that. So the good news is at the end is that even though now the bad news is we have to see this match again. The good news is this is the last time. After this match, the best of 7 series is officially over. The best of 7 series will come to an end, and the best of 7 series will be concluded. After that, that means after Clash of Champions, there will be a winner, and we will know who will get the championship opportunity. The question is, who are they going to pick? Are they going to pick Cesaro, or are they going to pick Sheamus? Now, the entire WWE universe wants to see Cesaro. I have no idea which wrestling fan out there would prefer Sheamus. I don't know who. Maybe Zach, because he likes to support fellow Irishmen. But for the most part, I can't think of a single person on God's green earth that wants Sheamus to win this match. But at the same time, we have to go by WWE logic. And WWE logic tells us that most of the time, they don't believe in Cesaro. And there's a good chance they are probably, most likely, going to push Sheamus. It is almost a certainty. So, even though I would want Cesaro to win, I wouldn't be shocked if Sheamus did. Because I'm pretty sure they want to push Sheamus to the main event level. Now, I will admit, both these men have proven in this match that both men deserve to be main event players on Monday Night Raw. The big question is, who at the end of the day are they going to go with? Who are they going to pick? And by that, I mean the booking committee. Who are the writers, the creative team? Who are they going to decide is going to win this? That's the big question. If all I know is this, if they give a shit at all about the fans, they will vote Cesaro. But if they want to tell the fans to go fuck themselves, they'll go with Sheamus. Simple as that. And on that note, we're going to cut to the next segment here because after a commercial break, we come back. Chris Jericho is in the ring, which, by the way, I love the segment between him and Jericho. Foley pretty much letting him have it. Jericho accusing Foley of stealing catchphrases and talking about the ear and saying he recommended him to Paul Heyman that got him into ECW. And that got him into ECW when Jericho was wrestling in Mexico and Japan before that. And, Jericho criticized his fashion sense, talking about that stupid scarf, saying it's trendy in Luxembourg, but it's not trendy here in Memphis, Tennessee. Love the cheap pop. And just love the fact that Foley gave Jericho all this shit and was not interested in his list of Jericho. So Jericho decides to go out to the ring and present the list of Jericho to the WWE Universe. So here's Jericho's list. Drink it in, man.
Quiet. Don't you dare boo me, I said quiet. For the last 2 months, Mick Foley has been doing a terrible job as the general manager, and everybody here knows it. He's been screwing me over. He's been screwing over my best friend, Kevin Owens, and he's been screwing up the entire show. So I have made the list of Jericho, and I put all my grievances against Mick Foley right here, and I'm going to read them out to you right now. Starting with number 1, Mick Foley is trying to drive a wedge between me and my best friend, Kevin Owens. That's not happening ever. Let's go to number 5. Like I said, terrible fashion sense. He looks ridiculous. What did you say? What did you say to me? No, right there. What did you say to me? You know what? You know what? You just made the list. Great space in row 12 is now on the list. I'll put you all on the list. Number 12, Mick Foley has developed an affection for that human, this happy-go-lucky leper, Sami Zayn. Well, you know what I did to Sami Zayn last week on Raw, right? I smashed the cell phone right over his stupid head. And next week, I'm going to cross them off the list of Jericho for good. Do you understand what I'm saying to you right now? Out there, it is it. Hey, God, that's my boy. And I am a certified G and a bona fide and this right here, this is Big Guy, and he's 7 foot tall, and he can't be that. I don't want to stop, but the whole realest guy to the roof, how you doing? The Ecto-Amore GPS has an issue to address. And that issue is you claiming that you're best friends with Kevin Owens. When I know you're not best friends with Kevin Owens. You want to know how I know you're not best friends with Kevin Owens? Because a real best friend would never let another best friend come down to this ring wearing that vest and that scarf. When I think of best friends, I think about Enzo and Cass. How you doing? Bart and Milhouse. How you doing? Beavis and Butthead. How you doing? Bert and Ernie. Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson. Shut up. Half those people don't even exist, okay? And Ashton Kutcher, what is it, 1998, huh? You think about that witty little quip where you're listening to your Spice Girls CD wearing your conch shell necklace? Huh? You think it's funny? The shining star. Look at you. You look so angry, so stressed. Guys, wouldn't you guys want to relax and blow off some steam at the Shining Star Resort Hotel? Think about it, guys. You can own a little piece of the Caribbean and are highly affordable timeshares. Think about it, guys. Don't you dare be sour! For your world famous Bucci and feel the power! It's a new day. Yes, it is. How was the studio, George? No, Booby. Come on over here, Vicky. You're ridiculous. What are you three losers doing here? Wait, hold up, Chris. Just who do you think you're talking to like that? And to answer your question, we have a very good reason for being out here. Tell them, E. We have nothing better to do. But honestly, while these Caribbean timeshares, they sound amazing. You know what sounds better? The fact that on my YouTube channel, Up, Up, Down, Down, go subscribe. Thank you. I'm giving away not one, but 2 free brand new iPhone 7. And that's so 2 lucky people can call the family when we, the New Day, defeat Gallows and Anderson this Sunday at Clash of Champions to remain your You have got to be kidding me. Seriously. See, this is exactly why we're taking those tag team titles this Sunday. Last week we beat you in the middle of the ring. Yeah. We beat you in the middle of the ring, and your response is to come out here and talk about your ridiculous Up, Up, Down, Down YouTube channel like anybody cares about that? Nobody cares. Talking about real estate scams. And New Day, you're always out here talking about your stupid cereal. All right. Enough. You know what? Originally, the list of Jericho was all about Mick Foley, but now, guess what? I'm starting a new list. It's a list of stupid idiots, and all of you are on it. You, and especially, and all of you, and especially you. Good Lord. And ladies and Jericho's back as here comes Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn will be Jericho's Sunday Classic champion going right after Jericho. For yourself this time. They're into a double. Ridiculous. Get out of here. All Jericho wanted to do with their grievances.
Yeah, apparently Jericho just wanted to air a couple of grievances. Unfortunately, he was not given the opportunity to, because before he could give us the list of Jericho, he first was interrupted by Enzo and Cass, who did a hell of a job of making us laugh. Of course, we also had the Shining Stars and, of course, the New Day. All of them coming out, mocking, making us all laugh, making us all entertain. And at the end of the day, that's really all we're supposed to get and all that we can really expect from the New Day. It's just the fact that they're going to, they're going to make us laugh. They're going to do a hell of a job, and they're going to be extremely entertaining. And that's ultimately what we can expect. And of course, you know, I love the fact that they were talking about, you know, Big Cass saying that, talking about the whole that Jericho Owens friends thing and how if Owens was a true friend, he wouldn't let him come down to the ring wearing that scarf, and talking about all the great friends over the years like Beavis and Butthead, who truly are best friends. You know, Beavis and Butthead, of course, being probably the amazing duo on the planet. You know, as a kid, I loved Beavis and Butthead. It was one of those shows that we had to watch when our parents weren't looking. I remember when I first saw Beavis and Butthead Do America, and I finally convinced my mom to let me see it. It was probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I loved it. I thought it was great, and I like the fact I like it a few years ago when Beavis and Butthead was brought back briefly, and they had new episodes. Unfortunately, they couldn't keep it going, but you know, if Mike Judge wanted to keep it going, and he could bring enough, fans to come see it and get a cult following, I would watch new episodes of Beavis and Butthead all the time because I just love that show. And then, of course, Bert and Ernie, the most popular best friend duo ever. They lived together. They drove each other crazy. They were the team on Sesame Street. In fact, people debated whether or not they were gay, and they were a domestic partnership or something, but nobody really brought that to pass, whether or not they were actually gay, because I believe they weren't gay for two reasons. One, I don't think Sesame Street would have created gay characters back in those days. And two, they slept in separate beds. What couple is going to sleep in separate beds? That's why on sitcoms, that was the dumbest thing in the world when they would have, couples, when they would have the man and the woman sleeping in separate beds. Like that that weren't together. I don't care about, censorship or no censorship. That's just ridiculous. When you reach a point in your marriage where you're in the same room but you're in separate beds, or you're sleeping in separate rooms, the countdown has begun to divorce. That's pretty much what that is. You are on the fast track to divorce if you're doing that shit. And then, of course, Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn from the Wedding Crasher films, and I think they also did The Internship, which I thought was awesome. Them working at fighting to get a job at Google, I thought was great. Then, of course, he made the 1998 Spice Girls CD reference, which is great because, the Spice Girls were very popular in the 90s. In fact, right around the time that I began the Boochcast, I was playing a lot of songs by the Spice Girls because they were part of my all-time favorite bands, one of my all-time favorite, groups to listen to. And I don't know, maybe I might start bringing the Spice Girls back now that I see that. I might. You guys let me know. I want the loyal Boochcast fans and listeners, go to the Boochcast Facebook page, facebook.com/the Boochcast, TheBoochcast. Hit the like button to, follow our progress, check out past and future episodes. From time to time, I post YouTube clip. If I take a clip from YouTube or something, I normally post them up there so you can check them out and get a better idea of what's going on. I don't post clips from wrestling, like Raw clips on there or SmackDown clips, but I will post like clips of like interviews and stuff that we check out online. Like if I play an audio clip of something that's usually non-wrestling related or might be wrestling related, I put it up there. Like especially all the WWE 2K17 stuff that Desmond and I have been talking about. If there's an audio video, if there's a video, I've been posting it up there. Trust me, I have. I do it every time. And it's just great. And I love so the Shining Stars come out doing another timeshare thing. The New Day comes out talking about, giving away 2 free iPhone 7s, which is great. I love the fact that WWE lets them plug other things from time to time. Like Xavier Woods does have an up, down YouTube channel, which is pretty much great. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, if you're a video gamer, that's where you want to go. He has a lot of wrestlers on it because it is WWE, but it centers around video games. And a lot of these guys talking about video games they played and telling stories. And sometimes they have video game tournaments on there. And it's really great. It's just entertainment. So if you're a video gamer, check out Up, Up, Down, Down, Xavier Woods' YouTube channel. And then, of course, Gallus and Anderson come out. And they're just talking about, all this ridiculous crap and how all they're about is kicking ass, taking names, and we're just gonna beat your ass this Sunday and take the gold. And like I said, Gallus and Anderson at this point, they need to take the belts from the New Day because otherwise they're gonna look ridiculous. If they don't win this Sunday, you might as well pull out the shovel and bury Gallus and Anderson, which will piss off the WWE universe if they don't get a push. Especially since they are the best. They are the best tag team, one of the best tag teams in the world. And to treat them with disrespect on the grandest stage of them all is insulting. Especially when one of the reasons Gallus left was he didn't like the way he was treated. From Festus to the Straight Edge Society to all of it. And on that note, we're going to move on to the next moment here, because as Jericho says that, he's calling everybody a stupid idiot, which, Sami Zayn comes out, the big brawl breaks out. Well, Mick Foley decides to make a 10-man tag match. The team of Chris Jericho, the Shining Stars, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson versus Enzo Amore, Colin Cassidy, The New Day, and Sami Zayn. Now, of course, Xavier Woods is at ringside while Big E and Kofi are wrestling in the match. And I kind of find interesting that Chris Jericho is calling everybody in the ring a stupid idiot, yet now he has to coexist with the Shining Stars and Gallows and Anderson, despite the fact he just called them stupid idiots. And, of course, Sami Zayn is in it because Jericho and Sami are fighting each other this Sunday at Clash of Champions as well. We're going to see Jericho versus Sami, which is going to be a great rivalry. I mean, a great match and maybe a great rivalry. It'll be intriguing to see. But I like the fact, what I like to see, I kind of like the fact that Chris Jericho is in a segment feuding with the other tag teams, because that makes me feel better about Jericho, as I was mentioning before. Because I think now that Jericho's kind of feuding with the other tag teams, I think it's only a matter of time before Kevin Owens eventually steps in and we start seeing them competing against the tag teams. And who knows? We might see a thing with Jericho where Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn might team up temporarily to take on Jericho. That could be another possibility since Rollins might be feuding with Owens. Could we be seeing that? And if Triple H does come back and decides to form a new authority stable, will Jericho be part of that stable? Will Jericho start aligning himself with Kevin Owens and with Triple H? Will Kevin Owens put in a good word for Triple H with his new mentor? Put for Triple H to have Chris Jericho part of the group since they're all really good friends. Well, basically this 10-man tag match was basically a spot fest, like most 10-man tag matches tend to be. I mean, there was some good in-ring action. Jericho showing that he had chemistry with his team, despite the fact that he called them stupid idiots. I guess, look, we're going to put that to the side to beat up a common enemy, but then you're going to go back to being stupid idiots. I kind of liked and enjoyed that concept a little bit. I thought it was very well done. Love the chemistry, love the high spots. Everybody pretty much got their shit in. Everybody pretty much got a shot in. And in the end, Zayn catches Epico with a haluva kick. Jericho runs away. Enzo tags in, hits the boom. It's the bada boom shakalaka with Cass, which used to be called the rocket launcher. 1, 2, 3, the winners of the match, Enzo and Cass, The New Day, and Sami Zayn. So obviously the baby faces are winning these matches, so everything looks good going forward. Now, from the looks of things, we know The New Day will be facing Gallows and Anderson. We know Sami Zayn is facing Jericho. The big question now is, could we see a tag match with Enzo and Big Cass versus the Shining Stars? Personally, I hope that does happen. this Sunday, and it happens on the main card because the only T-shirt I have from the Raw roster is my Certified G shirt. So therefore, they got to be on, because that's the only Raw shirt that I got. I can't wear anything else because, I could wear my Champ is Here shirt, but I'm not the champ, so I can't wear that. But the only other Raw shirt I got is Brock Lesnar, and Lesnar's not on the card, so I would look stupid wearing it. So I hope Enzo and Cass get on the show, if for no other reason than to give me for another reason, so that I can wear my Certified G shirt this Sunday when I go to Frank's house to see Clash of Champions. And on that note, we're going to move on to the next segment here, which is Mick Foley. And basically, he's going to be introducing the Cruiserweight division. As we all know, and by the way, there's a show on the Boochcast called The Next Classic Underground Impact, or Impact Underground. Underground Impact, the next classic Underground Impact, where on that Sunday show, I recapped everything from last week that I didn't get to. I recapped the Cruiserweight Classic finale. I recapped NXT. I recapped Lucha Underground. I recapped TNA Impact. It's all on that one show. You can go check it out. I have it posted to the Boochcast Facebook page, so go check that out. And I'm just letting you know that right now, because right now I'm about to give a little bit of spoilers here. So if you haven't seen that, even though you're going to find out everything now, go back and check out that episode. I open the show with a little bit of talking, then I get into the Cruiserweight Classic. It's worth the watch if you haven't seen it. It's amazing. But Mick Foley now introduces the men who are going to make up at least a big part of the Cruiserweight division going forward. And here is what Foley has to say about the Cruiserweights coming to Monday Night Raw. And here we go.
American author Mark Twain famously said, "It's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the fight of the dog, size of the fight in the dog." Did I mess that up? It's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. I think I got it right. Okay. Same can be said for our cruiserweights, because WWE scoured the earth over in search of the finest cruiserweight athletes they could find, and 32 of those cruiserweights competed in a grueling 10-week tournament on the WWE Network in search of finding out who is the finest cruiserweight in the world. We did that last week in crowning the first ever WWE Cruiserweight Champion, TJ Perkins. And along the way, these athletes defined what it meant to be a cruiserweight. It's not about size. It's about heart, determination, the spirit to excel, incredible competition, and unsurpassed entertainment. The type of competition and entertainment we will be bringing every week only here on Monday Night Raw. 32 athletes. We brought 4 of them here tonight for the inaugural match of the Cruiserweight division. May I introduce to you first a competitor as entertaining outside the ring as he is impressive inside the ring. Please welcome from Baltimore, Maryland, Rich Swann. And here is a young man who loves to entertain and he loves to have fun. And Rich Swann is a very inspirational individual. This young man lost both his parents when he was a teenager. He got in a lot of trouble with sports entertainment, was his way out. And now he finds himself on the grand stage of Monday Night Raw live tonight. Just in Judge's personality. wrestling style is much like his favorite final Richie sauce, because he can compete all night long. And that he can, Corey, you know, this welcome NXT. Rich Swann is not only one of the most entertaining sports entertainers I know, he's one of the most entertaining human beings. The guy plays guitar, he dances, he's hilarious to be around. I'm so excited for this. Welcome to Crown Jewel of Lucha Libre, and the runner-up in the Cruiserweight Classic from Guadalajara, Mexico, Ron Metalik. He's a high flyer with a business just about, a very physical young man as well. At 17 years old, he debuted in CMLL in Mexico. And earlier on today, we had the opportunity to hear from Ron Metalik.
Tengo un trono de grandeza. El éxito me ha seguido a donde quiera que voy. WWE no es diferente. La joya de la lucha libre está aquí en Monday Night Raw.
The crown jewel of Lucha Libre is here on Monday Night Raw. Ron Metalik. Introducing a man who unquestionably won the adulation of the WWE Universe in the Cruiserweight Classic. From Charlotte, North Carolina, Cedric Alexander. You know what's impressive about Cedric Alexander? He lost 22 pounds to make the 205 weight limit for the Cruiserweight Classic. He had an incredible match, one of the best in the tournament, against his favorite Colonel Bucci. A match that afterwards Triple H would come out and endorse this young man, Cedric Alexander, who we heard from earlier on today.
This past summer, I was given the opportunity to compete in the Cruiserweight Classic. And when that time was up, you, the entire WWE Universe, chanted, please sign Cedric. And now that I'm here because of you, I'll make sure your voice is not me.
An exciting young man, Corey. You're absolutely right. Cedric Alexander has earned every opportunity he's received. Last but not least, please welcome back to Monday Night Raw, a former WWE Tag Team Champion from Venice, California, the Brian Kendrick. In fact, Brian Kendrick is one of the longest reigning Tag Team Champions in WWE history with Paul London. And Brian Kendrick is back. It's been a career renaissance for this man. The Wizard of Oz says he can't wait to get back in the ring on Monday Night Raw.
608 days. July 30th, 2009. They wish me all the best of my future endeavors. They thought I was through. And so did I.
One thing I've known about Brian Kendrick is he came back and competed with an urgency, a desperation. Those of you watching the Cruiserweight Classic on the WWE Network, you know this is going to be great. For those of you who haven't, fasten your seatbelts because it's going to be a heck of a ride. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to watch you on the network. It's an honor to be out here introducing you, but you know, the Clash of Champions, every Raw title is going to be defended, including T.J. Perkins' WWE Cruiserweight Championship. And he will be defending that championship title against one of you, because the following match is a fatal four-way. And that match is next. Come on. What an incredible opportunity. One of these four men has a championship opportunity Sunday at Clash of Champions. Fatal four-way. Live next.
Now that is a hell of an introduction for some of the best guys in the Cruiserweight division. Now, from what I'm seeing here, I think the Cruiserweight division might be divided a little bit. I think they're putting some of them on Raw and some of them on NXT. And I think they're going to they might bounce back and forth between those shows. They might go to NXT to help develop themselves more and adapt to a WWE style, and then they'll go to Raw to entertain and be more seen on a global scale. I like the fact that they all got a chance to do promos. Obviously, Grand Metalik was speaking Spanish, so I had no idea what the hell he was saying. Again, I don't know why. It happened to be in the context of an English-speaking interview, so I have no control over that. But now we know. I love to see Brian Kendrick back in the WWE. It's great. You know, it was 608 days since WWE released him, and they thought he was through. And the fans thought he was through, and so did he. I love the fact that Cedric Alexander, you know, being here because of the fans, makes him a clear-cut babyface, and Cedric Alexander deserves to be there. Grand Metalik, an incredible talent. And no one knows what he's saying because Metalik cannot speak English, which to me, I think is going to be tough for him to make it in the WWE because he can't speak English. And I'm sorry. If you're going to wrestle in America, you got to learn English. Like if you wrestle in Mexico, you got to learn Spanish. That's what Jericho said. Jericho said when he moved to Mexico, when he was wrestling in Mexico, he learned a little Spanish. He could speak Spanish. I don't know if he learned Japanese while he was wrestling in Japan, but if he didn't, at the very least, he got a translator. I think that Grand Metalik is going, and he needed a translator when he did his post-match promos and shit. I mean, his post-match interview after making it to the finals. I think Grand Metalik is going to need a manager. I do. Something's going to have to happen with Grand Metalik because him just speaking Spanish, I don't think he has a future. I think that the only way I see Grand Metalik doing okay in WWE for a while, but I think eventually he's going to get released. And I think that when he does, he's going to go to Lucha Underground. And I think that's a better fit for Grand Metalik. I think that Lucha Underground is a better. If you can't speak English, you might as well go to Lucha Underground. You might as well go to Lucha Underground. I think that would be a better place for Grand Metalik to go ultimately. That's just how I feel. I think that's a better spot for him. And then, of course, Rich Swann, who is so full of charisma. This guy's staying in WWE. Definitely. I think he's going to become a future cruiserweight champion. Definitely. This guy's so entertaining and so athletic. It's amazing. And of course, TJ Perkins ended up winning the Cruiserweight Classic, which made him and Triple H dropped the bombshell where he said the winner would become also the Cruiserweight champion. So when TJ Perkins won the tournament, he became the new Cruiserweight champion because they have a new Cruiserweight belt. It's purple and silver, kind of like because everything in the Cruiserweight Classic was purple related. So it didn't shock me that the leather of the belt is purple. And TJ Perkins is going to defend that belt this Sunday at Clash of Champions, which is great. I love the fact that they're going to give him a title defense. And they had this fatal four-way match between these four guys. And I liked it because these four guys were able to tear the house down. All these guys got a chance to showcase how great and how talented they really are. I see a bright future for these guys. Like I said, I think the English is going to affect Grand Metalik, but it doesn't change the fact that he is an amazing talent. He is definitely an amazing talent who can get it done in the ring. He's very, very he's amazing in the ring. He can get it done. So I truly believe he is capable of being entertaining. Brian Kendrick, love the new and improved him. And he was amazing in the Classic. A lot of people thought he was going to win the whole thing and were shocked when he didn't. Cedric Alexander, he was my pick from the beginning. I was sad he didn't make it, but I'm glad Triple H signed him. And, of course, Rich Swann doing what he does. So the way that I see this happening, I think that like I said, this fatal four-way match, it had all the makings of a great match. It had the compelling story of the Cruiserweight Classic. So already there's a story behind it. And it gave the audience the Raw audience, anybody there who either A, doesn't have the WWE Network, or B, has not been watching the Cruiserweight Classic. I know I have some friends who have not seen the Cruiserweight Classic at all. And I can tell you right now, if you're listening to this show right now, you are missing out. Now, obviously, you know what happened because I've been recapping the Cruiserweight Classic, but you've been missing out on some of the best wrestling in the world. And I highly recommend you go to my Sunday show, the NXT, the next Classic Underground Impact, and check out all the recaps of those other wrestling shows. And now back to the match. Excuse me. Basically what we see here, what we definitely see here is, like I said, all the high spots, all the great moves. These guys come at each other. They're high flying. They're technical wrestling. These guys are truly amazing in the ring. Cedric Alexander hitting a springboard enziguri. The fans are chanting, "This is awesome." Kendrick goes for slice bed number 2 on Swan. Metalik grabs him midair. Kendrick quickly counters into a DDT for a near fall. So fucking awesome. He sets up the bully choke, but Alexander knees him in the face. Swan then kicks Alexander down. Swan gets himself pumped up and connects with a standing 450 splash. Kendrick breaks it up. Kendrick applies the bully choke, but it's now known as the Captain's Hook. They've now called it the Captain's Hook on Alexander, but Metalik breaks it up. Metalik picks up Alexander and gets shoved into Swan. Alexander then gives Metalik the lumbar check. A back suplex to a double knee backbreaker. Kendrick quickly runs in and applies the Captain's Hook on Alexander. Cedric unfortunately taps out. The winner of the match, Brian Kendrick. Now, I had a feeling because of Brian Kendrick's star power and the fact that him and Paul London used to be the longest reigning tag team champions before the New Day broke that up. Obviously, I had a feeling Brian Kendrick was going to win. I kind of wish Cedric would have, but either way, Brian Kendrick's amazing. And we now know that it'll be Brian Kendrick versus TJ Perkins for the WWE Cruiserweight title at Clash of Champions. And what's interesting is that TJ Perkins was nowhere to be found on Raw. They only showed the number 1 contenders. So now, once again, if you want to see TJ Perkins, you got to come out you got to tune in to the WWE Network in order to see TJ Perkins. I thought he was going to be on Raw tonight as the Cruiserweight champion, but I guess they decided not to show TJ Perkins. They decided to give him the night off. Maybe he's still recovering from a few injuries. I don't know. Or maybe they just want him to be healthy for Clash of Champions. Have him come out and make it, instead of making it all about TJ Perkins, let it be all about the other cruiserweights and find out who's going to face him. So now we know Brian Kendrick versus TJ Perkins, Cruiserweight title. That's going to be great because the question is, could Brian Kendrick win the title this Sunday? Or are they going to let TJ Perkins have a long, lengthy title reign? I don't know. But regardless, all I know is this. TJ Perkins won the Cruiserweight Classic. If Brian Kendrick wins the Cruiserweight title this Sunday, it does not bury TJ Perkins because TJ Perkins survived a 32-man tournament and fought the best in the world to get to that point. He fought the best in the world to get to that point. He won a tournament. You can't bury somebody that won a tournament like that. The only way it can be seen as a burial is if people on the Raw roster, as if you didn't see the Cruiserweight Classic and you don't take him seriously based on that. And if that's the case, there's something mentally wrong with you. And on that note, we move on to the main event of the evening, a steel cage match, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, non-title match. This was a hell of a main event. Despite the fact that it was a cage match, these men were not afraid to go the distance and tear each other apart. You know, Roman puts on a great match almost every time he's in the ring. You know, it's like Mick Foley said, how can the W Universe boo Roman Reigns? Somehow they still manage to find a way. And it's because they just don't like him. If you're booing Roman Reigns, you just don't like him. And that's okay. That's okay. But don't try to tell me he's not good in the ring. And don't try to tell me he's not deserving of the spot that he's in. At this point, you just don't like him. And that's okay. But either way, this match was amazing. Just great back and forth action. Wonderful uses of the cage. I remember at one point they're on the ropes. They're standing on the ropes, and Kevin Owens is banging Roman Reigns' head into the cage, screaming, "I'm the guy. Give up. You're nothing." Like Kevin Owens, like loving to trash talk. And then eventually Roman Reigns hits a Superman punch and sends Kevin crashing to the floor. Roman then, eventually takes him down. Then Owens goes for a pop-up powerbomb. Reigns counters a Superman punch for a near fall. Michael Cole simply says, "What a sequence." As we're seeing Owens send him in the ropes. Reigns holds on, elbows him. They trade more punches before getting to a hockey fight. Owens in the midsection super kicked him, then went for all that stuff. Reigns set him up in the corner. Owens kicked him in the face as he goes for a spear. Reigns widely screams and runs to a pop-up powerbomb for a near fall, and Owens can't believe it. And after all this brawling and fighting and crotching and everything, Owens begins to climb the cage and is nearly out. Reigns grabs his leg at the last moment, pulls Owens back to the top rope. That's when they're bouncing off the cage. Reigns then stumbles to the top turnbuckle before leaping off with a Superman punch that floors Owens. Owens goes to leave through the door while Reigns climbs over the cage, and Reigns hits the floor moments before Owens does. He kind of just lets go and falls. And the winner of the match, by escaping the cage, Roman Reigns. And this, to me, was a great finish. Both men were fighting to get out of the cage. Roman climbed out. Owens was crawling through the door. Roman got to the bottom first. What I like about this is, A, it gives Roman Reigns a victory from having to lose twice to Kevin Owens last week. So now it makes Roman look strong. And I know that's a joke. Roman looks strong going into his match with Rusev. But also it allows Roman Reigns to get a victory without hurting Kevin Owens. Because Roman didn't pin Kevin Owens, and he didn't make Kevin Owens submit. He just escaped the cage. That's a great finish to have, because now it's just who got out there first. Roman just happened to be faster. Simple as that. And that's what makes it helpful. Rusev, next thing you know, quickly tries to attack Reigns with a steel chain, but Reigns avoids it, punches him around ringside. Reigns stomps him down before Owens kicks the door of the cage into Reigns' face. Owens screams at Rusev, "Machka something." Rusev puts Reigns in the ring and grabs a chain he brought down to the ring. Rusev gets in the ring and chains the door shut. Owens stands over Reigns and punches away at him. As this happens, Rusev locks the door and starts wildly punching away at Reigns. Rusev stomps the spine and applies the accolade. Kevin Owens is talking trash, like him and Rusev are kind of working together. Next thing you know, Seth Rollins' music hits. He comes out to a big reception. Rollins climbs the cage, punches Owens away as Owens tries to follow him up the cage. Rusev tries to prevent him from coming in, but Rollins punches him down. Rollins then stands on top of the cage, takes both men out with a crossbody block. Rollins then grabs his ribs and looks furiously at Owens as the show comes to an end. Now, this was a great ending to the show. It got Seth Rollins had a chance to establish, dominance over Kevin Owens. And it kind of shows an indication that we could see Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns slowly get back together. Now, that's a stretch because of everything they've been through, but keep in mind that, they were still former Shield brethren, and not only that, they're former tag team champions together. People forget that. So I could see Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns somewhat reforming their friendship. Seth Rollins, of course, that would, of course, involve Seth Rollins having to repent for his sins, because that's the thing about when you're a heel and you turn babyface. You have to repent for everything you've done wrong and seek forgiveness. And then you receive the forgiveness, thus making you a babyface. That's how it goes. Or a face turning heel. You just get fed up with everything and you turn your back on everything you stood for. That's the key from a face turning to a heel and a heel turning into a face. So we could see next Monday night on Raw, it could be Kevin Owens and Rusev versus Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Or we could see a 6-man tag with Jericho and Rusev against Rollins, Reigns, and Sami Zayn. Now, obviously, they're not going to reform the Shield with Sami Zayn, but there have been talks of now that all three of them are babyface, there could be a Shield thing going on down the road. Maybe at Survivor Series or something, we could see a Shield moment now that we're starting to see Seth Rollins turn face, Roman's still a face, and Dean, I think, is still a babyface despite the fact that he dropped John Cena with Dirty Deeds, but I think it's just Dean's kind of being more like a tweener. I think Dean's becoming a tweener. So that could be something that could affect that, but I think they could still do a, Shield thing, especially if Dean at some point does jump over to Monday Night Raw. We could definitely see the Shield reform. And I would like to see it, especially if Finn Balor comes back, becomes the Universal Champion with Gallows and Anderson Tag Team Champions. I still see a Balor Club formation happening, and it needs to happen. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That needs to be the club. Because if the only formation of the club we see is Styles, Gallows, and Anderson, that's stupid. Because Finn Balor was the founder of the club in the first place back when it was the Bullet Club. Finn Balor founded that group. And to act like he didn't in WWE would be a disgrace. So I would love to see a Balor Club team get together to take on the Shield. Believe that. All right, and that is the conclusion of the Raw recap, and that will officially wrap up this episode of the Boochcast for today. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in live. I want to thank everybody listening in the archives, and I will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. West Coast time with another fun-filled, action-packed episode of the Boochcast. I'll be doing a recap of SmackDown Live, as well as getting into some other fun, crazy stories and shenanigans. I may even take calls if there is any. So until next time, this is Vinny Bucci, a.k.a. The Booch, saying keep on living life and take care. This has been the Boochcast. I'll chat with you guys tomorrow right here on Blog Talk Radio and on YouTube.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.